My sister said I'm not good enough for my boyfriend. She doesn't know I heard.
Well, what does she know?
Firstly, my sister and this group of friends are what I would consider my closest friends. I don't like my sister and this group of friends.
It's true.
I love these girls to death. I love my sister to death.
Aww.
I literally tried to donate a kidney for one of them, and now I'm 100% heartbroken.
Here's my kidney.
My boyfriend is an amazing guy. Kind, funny, smart as heck, and pretty much a model.
Ooh.
He's just gorgeous and a... This isn't a problem for me, and we worked it out. He's also very open to it, and everyone knows, which I entirely support. By the way, this comes from TRWWW Assist Help. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. We were supposed to hang out a week ago, but after spending about half an hour, his job called him, and he had to leave. This didn't bother me a lot because I had a unaliver headache and went home.
Bad headache?
Yeah, I had a bad headache and went home. My sister and I share an apartment. To save money, we have a year-long lease, so I guess I'm screwed. Long story short, I closed my door, didn't light up, and took a nap. Next thing I know, I wake up to my sister's voice. She and those friends were at our house, and from what I heard, they were going to a club and were drinking a bit, waiting for others. I didn't get up because I was lazy. I would have to put on pants. And then they started talking about me. I'm not proud, but I was curious. They were talking about how they couldn't believe I was dating my boyfriend, how he was too good for me, I was too ugly to get a guy like him. My sister then started telling how being asexual is obviously an excuse to not have spicy sleep with me.
Oh, icky. I hate that. Oh, okay. So she has no valid things to say.
I'm not pretty. Aw.
Yes, you are.
And while it does make me insecure, I know I have other good characteristics, but it is very hard hearing that. Also, like half of being hot is personality.
Confidence.
Yeah, and confidence.
Yeah.
So they also made fun of my learning disability. They called the R word, which I can't even effing write it, that I wasn't even financially stable. They made fun of my job. They said I had to beg to be effed. All of my friends laughed, and all of them crap talked to me.
Those aren't your friends.
I was crying pretty hard at that point. They left, and I didn't know what to do. I went to bed and basically made myself scarce this week. I get up earlier, get home later, or stay at my boyfriend's. I answer their messages, but was somewhat cold. I know I have to talk with them, even if it's just to cut off contact, but I can't open my mouth right now. I feel so ashamed and sad. My boyfriend is also worried, but I can't get what they said from my head. I know it's not true, and my boyfriend is, but I feel like I'm not worth being with him. My sister is my best friend. I don't know if she is, if she's acting like that.
Yeah, you thought she was your best friend.
I effing told her how I feel too ugly and stupid to be with him. I showed her our messages and we spoke about his ace. I love her so much it hurts. I can't stop looking at her knowing she was saying those things behind my back and that none of my friends said anything. I just don't know what to do. I could break my lease, I guess, even though it would be very expensive, but I don't know how to say why I'm doing it or how I can face them. And this is why OP said earlier, like, oh, my lease is a year-long lease, so I guess I'm screwed. I don't know if I should tell my boyfriend. And we got an edit. We got some updates. What do you think, Sophia?
Well,
should OP tell the boyfriend?
Yeah.
Should OP confront the sister about the terrible things that the sister said about
also,
OP
yes.
and the boyfriend? Tell me what you think.
I think absolutely. I think you can have a conversation with your boyfriend and say, hey, I overheard this really awful stuff. Get some support from your partner. I think absolutely confront these people that you thought were, I mean, especially your sister, like that someone's going to be in your life kind of in some way or other forever. Obviously you can go no contact, but like she's still connected to you in a way that your friends are not. So absolutely confront her. It seems like she's dealing with some heavy feelings of jealousy. But I think kind of beyond all of that confrontation and, you know, talking to these people, I think I'm also kind of sensing a lot of insecurity in you. that maybe this is something we go to therapy for, because it's super normal to have feelings of insecurity, but it feels like you are convinced that you're not pretty, that you're not worthy of your partner. And it's like, your partner's with you for a reason.
Yeah.
It seems like your partner is attracted to you, even if that's not necessarily like they don't have a spicy attraction, because that's just not how they operate.
Yeah, they're with you for a reason. You have a lot of great qualities. I think that you just need to rediscover in yourself and know that you have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, disgusting behavior from the sister.
Disgusting.
But let us see where this edit leads us. So edit, I can't explain how much you guys rock. Thank you so much for the advice, support, and tough love. It has truly helped me, and it warms my heart to see so many people taking their time to write a stranger on the internet. I'm trying to respond to all the comments, but if I haven't, please know I have read it and consider it. I promise I will talk with my boyfriend tomorrow. We're going to his place, and I'll probably just show him this post. And edit 2. Hey guys, thank you again so much for all the messages and well wishes. It truly made a moment of pain more bearable, and it made me feel better to know there are so many of those who care. I really need to sleep now, but I will do my best to respond to the comments tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. And now we have the update.
Woo.
So, hey, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for the messages and comments on my last post. It truly helped me get out of bed and face the day. I showed my boyfriend the last post because I didn't know how I could say it. He was very sad and disappointed, but he said he has had his fair number of a-holes, but he mostly felt angry for me and agreed with the majority of advice that I should confront her. I think this is good. This is good. You went to the boyfriend first, and now you got your team.
Yeah, and also he's able to kind of, reassure you that what they're saying is not true.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
We decided a letter would be the best choice since I actually write a lot of letters and it's not direct confrontation. I like writing letters for moments, like letters for when a person is sad, happy, angry, scared. So I do have some technique, but this was with no doubt the hardest thing I ever wrote. I decided to go for simple and blunt. I told her I heard what they said about me. And while I was willing to work on a relationship, I needed some distance from her and this whole situation. I talked with my landlord, and she was super sweet and had no problem breaking the lease. I offered to find someone to take up my place, but apparently she has someone that could use the room. That's cool. I intended to pack and leave a letter on her bed, but she came home early and caught me. I basically said F it to myself and told her I heard what they were saying, that I wasn't good enough, and calling me names. First, she tried to deny it, which I was not having. Gaslighting, crazy. Then she tried to justify and say I was overreacting, but I just stared at her. Then she finally started to apologize and cry.
Dang, she went through all of the emotions.
All the emotion. I mean, I feel like she just went through all of the excuses.
Yeah, she was like, deny, your fault, tears.
Yeah.
Feel bad for me.
I mean, I feel like because it happened in such a quick sequence, it just feels like the apology is...
Oh, it's fake.
Like nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Dirt.
Then she finally started to apologize and cry. At that moment, I actually thought we might be able to save the relationship, but then she started making herself a victim.
Yerp.
The main points were, 1, I just can't understand how hard it is to be pretty.
Ooh. She's like, you just don't understand pretty privilege and how much of a burden it is.
2, I don't understand how she feels because I'm used to not being the best.
Wow, this is the worst apology I've ever heard.
3, it's not fair I get a gorgeous boyfriend who is completely out of my league while she's single.
I wonder why we're single.
4, she feels embarrassed when we go out together and she has to tell people that my boyfriend is actually mine, not hers. 5, she knows it doesn't exist and we're just doing it for attention.
Oh, wow. She really sucks.
Wow.
She really sucks.
That is, we've seen a lot of bad apologies on this show.
We so have.
But that is the most tone deaf, insane apology.
Oh, it got worse.
It got worse with every point.
Yeah.
I just kind of froze. I wish I had said something, but I couldn't open my mouth. She then said she was going out to recover from our traumatic conversation and left.
That's crazy because what it feels like is OP said, hey, like, I overheard you said these kind of really terrible things. And then she went, no, I didn't. Okay, I did, but it's your fault for being ugly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but you don't understand what it feels like to be pretty because you're ugly and it actually doesn't exist. And you just will never understand how it feels when people think that I'm your boyfriend's girlfriend and then I have to tell them that I'm not. That's what happened.
That's what happened.
And then she's beautiful. Like, I'm done with this traumatic conversation. I'm leaving. You had a conversation with yourself. That was a monologue, girl.
That was a monologue.
That was a soliloquy.
So she then said she was going to leave this traumatic conversation and left. I just packed the rest of my things and left the letters on her bed. I'm currently at my boyfriend's place, but I'm looking for a free room that is not super far from my job. I also wrote and sent letters to my friends and then blocked their social media /contacts. I'm certain they'll find a way to approach me as we work close, but I can't give an F. But I want you to give an F about listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update, and we're going to get into it. So besides all that, last Friday I had a dinner with my parents. I gave them an edited version of what happened because I don't want to talk about my spicy sleep life. And that I broke the lease, blocked my friends, and they said I shouldn't be angry because it was true.
Who said that?
The parents.
Oh, what?
Your parents said
the friends or the parents?
The parents.
Your parents
What?
said you shouldn't be angry at your sister because it's true that you're ugly?
And that the first time they met my boyfriend, they thought I was playing a prank.
Wow, your parents are awful people, and I understand where your sister gets it.
My dad then started saying I was being very selfish by breaking the lease, and I, crap you not, betraying my sister's trust, and that you don't do this with family. So yeah, I've been ignoring them since that happened, as well as my sister. Overall, I'm fine. I actually feel more tired than angry or sad. And there are some relevant comments, but oh my God.
I understand why you have low self-esteem.
Yeah, I mean, this is golden child syndrome for sure.
Yeah, your whole family is telling you that you're ugly and unlovable. Yeah, you're going to take that to heart.
Yeah.
Wow.
Therapy for this one for sure. Relevant comments. This is a little bit off topic, but I'm curious as to how your relationship dynamic works with your boyfriend. I don't know too much about / you mentioned you have a disability. So if it isn't too personal for me to ask, how does your relationship work? How do you go about a spicy sleep life? I don't mean to be offensive or nosy, so apologies in advance. I'm just curious. OP responds, don't worry, is a scale. Just like hetero / attracted to the same gender is a scale. At one side, you have asexuality, and on the other side, you have
allosexuality.
What's that?
Wanting to have spicy sleep.
Between, you have different shades of gray. Some people don't feel spicy attraction, but don't really care about having spicy sleep. If it makes their partners happy, some really don't want to do it. Some only feel spicy attraction for those they have an emotional connection. It's a very diverse community. As for the obstacles of dating an asexual man, I guess it mostly falls into what you consider a deal breaker. What are your needs, etc. I can live without spicy sleep. I can live happy without spicy sleep. Again, it's about compromise. There are other things in my relationship that are more important to me than spicy sleep, and they are being met, so I'm happy. I guess it just goes down to if you can't date someone without spicy sleep, that's okay. If you can, that's okay too. The only thing that is wrong is crapping on other people. And OP on if her parents always treated her sister as the golden child.
Yup.
We were talking about that earlier. I checked it out, and some people sent links to me. And I believe they did treat her as a golden child. Things like having to give her my clothes if she liked them, or having to eat her food if she didn't want it anymore. I don't know. I can see how some of the things they did were terrible, but saying they were harmful sounds too extreme.
Yeah. Well, you got your partner. You guys know what you want and are happy in your relationship. Your family sucks.
Yeah, I feel like you need to create a lot of distance between your family.
So much distance. The fact that they're like literally creating insecurities in you and probably have done that your whole life. Get those people out of there.
Yeah.
Get those people out of there.
Yeah, no, this is pretty bad, but I'm glad that OP is taking the steps now.
Yeah.
To finally, I think like finally be themselves.
Also therapy.
Also, therapy.
I want to separate from my twin sister, even though she'll struggle without me.
Are we talking conjoined twins or what?
I think that regardless, the struggle is real. Also, this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
No way! One of our own kin. Our children.
Hi, Reddit. I, 19 female, have a twin sister. Let's call her Maya. We've always had a complicated relationship, and honestly, I don't even know where to begin. We grew up in a family where psychological tension ran deep. There was no clear, visible favoritism, but it was there. Our parents didn't show affection equally, and strangely, it created an atmosphere where we both ended up believing the other was the favorite. And I think she still resented me for it while I moved on. By the way, this story comes from Twinsy5769, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, our dad would often say things like, Maya is above all of you, or call her his favorite openly. That sounds like favoritism to me.
Yeah.
Once, he even said he regretted having both of us and wished he could have given one up for adoption, and I was convinced that one was me.
Oh my
I smiled
God.
through it all, but I cried a lot. Yeah, oh my God.
That just right off the bat, terrible. Not even one of those like, wow, that was like really twisted and rude. It's like, no, this is straight up like you were trying to be.
There's like the smallest little percentage that he just was a complete and like didn't know how to say, I wish I could never choose between either of you.
I don't think that's what he was saying.
He just didn't know how to say that, and instead he said, I wish I could choose one of you. And
Dang.
he
Yeah.
accidentally said the exact opposite.
Yeah, maybe. Really playing devil's advocate.
Maybe, dude. Yeah. I acted okay, mostly because Maya had low self-esteem and our parents seemed to coddle her to lift her up. And I think I encouraged them by seeming okay with it, as I was trying to convince myself, but I was only a kid back then, and it made me feel like I didn't exist. Our parents didn't know how to handle our constant fighting, which only made things worse. We both said cruel, painful things to each other as kids, and I regret a lot of it. I think I was depressed even then. I used to write things like self-harm notes, hoping someone would notice. Instead, I got punished.
Oof.
Therapy was out of the question. My parents thought it would, quote, make them look bad. So I learned to fake being okay. It's called, you're masking. But it was hard because I was expected to be a copy of her, more quiet and more reserved, and got punished for being cheerful or expressive. No one seemed to care about me, just that we were the twins. People couldn't even be bothered to call us by our names. It was always you and her, like we were one interchangeable person. I tried so hard to carve out my own identity, but every time I did something different, she eventually followed me or blamed me for stealing something from her. I picked up the violin after she said she didn't want it and was going to learn guitar, and then suddenly she got a violin too. When I expressed my frustration, she told me I was making her feel bad for liking the same things. I even offered to buy her an instrument so she wouldn't feel like I was taking anything from her. But in the end, she ruined my lessons, got angry when I tried to practice, and made it harder for me to attend classes. Fast forward a few years, we both took the national exam that determines university placements. I passed with a high score, and she didn't. Not because she wasn't smart, she actually used to be the best in our town, but because of a grading error. Unfortunately, nothing could be done legally? What?
Wait, what?
So you have a test that determines if you get what colleges you can get into,
Yeah.
and then an error happens, and they're like, sorry, you have to go to the worst college, and we can't change it.
What? So
I
like
don't-
totally on the college's fault?
I have no idea, but that sounds so wrong.
Maybe it's just vague and we just don't know all the details.
Yeah.
But that sounds crazy.
She was devastated. She couldn't accept starting a university with a score that didn't reflect her. She fell apart, and I did something that changed my life. I chose to repeat the whole year just so she wouldn't have to go through it alone.
Wow.
Wow.
That's really nice of you, OP.
Yeah. I told everyone I wanted to because I knew if she found out it was for her, she'd feel ashamed or angry. I paid for both of our classes with prize money I'd earned without her knowing, and that year was awful. She was constantly angry, paranoid, and depressive. I had to drag her to classes and exams. I gave up chances to study in better places, to leave the city, because I knew no one else could get her through it. My parents didn't stop me. They actually relied on me to carry her. At the same time, I got trapped in a toxic relationship/friendship with a girl, Sarah, that was older than me, 23 female. And I, back then, was 16 or 17. She was older and manipulative and isolated me from my friends and family. She knew how much I wanted to escape the pressure at home and used that. Luckily, everything ended up smoothly with Maya that year, and we both got the scores we wanted. Sarah convinced me to apply to one of the best schools in the country just because it was in the same city where she lived at. I was alone and I felt like I found a friend that understands me and didn't realize how calculated it was. Once I got in, she started controlling everything. Who I spoke to, where I went, how I dressed. She belittled me, shamed me, and made me feel worthless. My parents step in and threaten legal actions if she does not leave me alone. And through all of that, Maya shamed me. She said I was being dramatic, that I should have known better, that I was making our life more stressful. She didn't support me. And looking back, I was stupid, but I needed her support, not a lecture. The truth is, I still feel bad now and guilty because that person dragged me here and Maya followed me here again, even though I never asked her to. And the cycle continued. Every time I tried to do something for me, she followed and then blamed me for the outcome. I am her emotional speed bag. If I tried to plan in advance or work ahead, she'd accuse me of being condescending or trying to sabotage her. If I helped, I was controlling. If I didn't help, I was selfish. We have to have a moment where we choose to help ourselves only.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if it's selfish, that's okay. That's okay sometimes.
Like, there are times when being selfish is a character fault.
Sure.
This is not one of those times.
Not at all.
You literally put your whole life on hold to go back to school for
Yeah.
your sister. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
No, not at all.
And if you told her, she would hate you for it.
And what was the line about, like, if she didn't stop leaving OP alone, then the parents would threaten legal action?
That was the friend, the 23-year-old.
That
was-
she had a
that was
different
not-
friend
yeah.
that was not leaving.
That was like,
Okay,
which, you know, that's over now, whatever.
Sure.
But
Choose yourself, OP.
Yeah.
Or everyone watching. You're number one.
don't be afraid to be a little selfish, okay? You
That's
can't live
fine.
your life for others. You have
Exactly.
to live your life for yourself
Exactly.
first. Before you can live your life for someone else, you have to know how to live your life for yourself.
Set those boundaries.
She pushes everything to the last second, collapses, and then blames me for not saving her. For the past 3 years, I've been carrying both of us emotionally, academically, financially. She doesn't know how to manage stress, so she spirals, stops eating and can't get out of bed and lashes out. She's screamed, insulted, and even gotten physically aggressive. And through all of that, I've been the one managing both of our lives. It sounds like your sister needs legitimate professional help to get her to a place where she can live on her own.
Yeah.
That's not your fault. She doesn't mean to be cruel, but she's never learned how to stand on her own because I've always been there to catch her. Our finals are this week, and I honestly don't know how I'm still standing. I'm constantly 1 inch from collapsing, but she doesn't notice. Or if she does, she doesn't care. Now I'm considering something that terrifies me but also feels necessary. After finals, I want to request a room change. I want to switch classes if I can. I want to live separately from Maya, not because I hate her. I don't. I love her. I know she's not evil, and I know she's also hurting, but this cycle isn't helping either of us. Exactly. And I'm not sure I can survive another year of it. And if that's what you know,
Yeah.
then you must act upon it.
Exactly. It's good to be aware of that.
And
That's
it's-
okay.
It's scary because now your sister might like say all this terrible stuff about you, but like you can't control it.
Yeah.
You can't control that. You can only try to guide her to like getting the help she needs.
True.
And if she won't get it, are you going to go down with her then?
Yeah.
It's,
Exactly.
you know, that's one of those things. It's down with the ship. And by the way, you can think about listening to full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
All you got to do is search OK Storytime, and you can listen to over 2,000 episodes.
So many.
We have a little bit of story left.
A little bit more. Yeah, we've kind of said everything.
I think we've said it. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
I feel guilty, horribly guilty, because I know she'll struggle, and I feel like I dragged her away from our parents that could now be supporting her. I'm not saying this because I think I'm better than her. I don't. In fact, I think she's smarter than me. I hype her up all the time. I've just enabled her for so long, and it's really taking its toll. And I also know I won't make it if I don't take space to heal. I want to try therapy again, learn how to make friends. I want to see who I am without carrying someone else. My mom supports the idea, at least for next year, but I'm not sure how my dad will react. And more than anything, I'm scared of how Maya will feel. I'm scared she'll see it as betrayal or abandonment, but in my heart, I know she needs to learn to stand on her own too, and I need to stop enabling this dynamic before it destroys us both.
Mm-hmm.
So, Reddit, am I the a-hole for wanting to live apart from my twin and finally put myself first, even though I know she'll struggle? No, you're not.
No.
You're not.
No, it sounds like she needs to struggle. And she, you know, you don't want to be in that situation where you have to like parent someone and be like, this is what's best for you.
Right.
But, like, I don't think you're doing that though. I think you're thinking what's best for you, which is to separate yourself. And then it just so happens that, you aren't doing anything bad to your sister. She's going to struggle. Yeah. But you don't need to be there. You shouldn't be there for her to fix it all the time. She needs to learn.
The struggle is real, but she has not experienced it. So she has not been living in the reality.
Wow.
We have some comments. Comment 1, not the a-hole. Most colleges offer counseling services. I'd make the room change in at least half the classes, so you do have a little time to be able to keep an eye on her, as the schools at that level aren't equipped. I would do counseling together and recommend she do individual counseling as well. This way you can show her you care and aren't abandoning her just trying to live your life, and can hopefully get the counselor to help her understand this as well. Suggest the school do tutors for her. This way it isn't completely all at once, but it gives you a vast majority of independence. Set boundaries in counseling so that you can refer back to them if she violates them at school. OP says, I did try counseling since it was free, but couldn't follow through with the appointment because I was too busy. We discussed my PTSD, which makes it hard for me to live with other girls. The counselor suggested I apply for an individual room next year. I also offered to help Maya get an appointment after one of her breakdowns, but she laughed and refused. So I didn't want to pressure her, or I guess I should say I was worried she would accuse me of making her crazy or controlling her. I'm still in contact with a therapist and plan to be more consistent next year. Comment 2 says, not the a-hole, do the room change. You need to be at your best self, and that is living separately from your sister. Good luck. Not the a-hole, her reaction and feelings are not your problem. You have to set boundaries, and it starts by not feeling bad about how she will feel or react. It's like taking away a pacifier from a child too old to have one but still wants one. She'll scream, cry, act out, and blame you for her feelings, but you must become immune to her and your family's pressure. Go to therapy to learn ways to cope and how to react to her meltdowns. If you must talk to her, keep things short and cut the communication if she starts to act up. We can talk more when you feel better, and hang up / walk away. That's a good way to redirect her. And that is the end of that story.
My ex-husband left me for my best friend. My sister wants to take revenge.
Go for the throat.
Trigger warning for animal abuse. I, 33 female, was in a relationship with my ex-husband, 35 male, for 12 years, married for 2. He was a couple years ahead of me in high school, and we started dating the week before I turned 16. For the most part, our relationship was very good, but around college, things became stressful. His family was very conservative, and I was very liberal. He was a more left-leaning moderate, and so it wasn't as much of an issue between us, but there was definitely a lot of sucking it up around some of his family members. By the way, this comes from Prof Confused on the Charlotte Debray YouTube subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, the thing about him was he was a very smart person who just never actually achieved his full potential for one reason or another. He would have a lot of good ideas, would talk about and did open various businesses, but they would eventually crumble and he'd go back to doing what he always did, work for his parents or within his network. He wanted to believe he was better than he was, but he never did anything to actually prove it or be better. He just expected people to recognize his brilliance in advance. He was very charming and charismatic, so it worked when we were in high school and college. Not so much afterwards when he entered the workforce.
See, I see this because I am similar to this.
Yeah.
When you enter the workforce, you have to do it in a different way.
Yeah.
Plus, and if you're in a comfortable situation, like, I could work for my family sawmill.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be comfortable. I wouldn't like it, but I'd be comfortable. You got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations.
Exactly. You
I
gotta,
think he put himself there.
Exactly. Yeah, he kind of settled and he was like, people should just think that I'm brilliant.
And give me the opportunities instead of
Looking for
working
him.
it or
Yeah.
showing value first.
Exactly.
Because you showed value for your brother's podcast for like 3 years.
Exactly. Yes.
And then
I
you were
worked
like-
for free
Yep. And then
for
now,
3 years.
look where you're at.
Here. I wanted to go to graduate school as soon as I finished my undergrad work. He insisted it was a terrible idea because I had so many student loans already, and I should pay those off before going into more debt. He wanted to move back to his family and work for his mom, and I reluctantly agreed it probably made financial sense. They lived in a very rural area, and finding work was difficult, and often I'd have to drive 45 minutes or an hour and a half plus to get to work every day. I didn't have any friends in the area, and the only people I could really spend time with were his family. I did love them despite our differences, especially his dad, but there was a lot of chafing. My dad retired at one point and offered to use some of his pension to pay both mine and my then boyfriend's student loans. I was ecstatic. I've been drowning under over $1,000 a month payments, and it was literally a lifeline.
Whew.
You're wow.
$1,000 in payments
It's
a
crazy
month.
that your dad offered to pay for both your payments and your boyfriend's loans.
I thought it was his.
No, it's OP's dad.
Wow.
He was going to use his pension to pay off OP's and her boyfriend's student loans.
Also, what's chafing mean? Chaffing?
Like rubbing against.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, that is very generous.
Once the loans were paid off, I brought up graduate school. I wanted to get my PhD. It was important to me. My boyfriend insisted he didn't want to move, that he had a job here and his family was here and he couldn't afford our household on his own if I was a full-time student. I looked at the universities nearby, but we couldn't afford it, so I agreed to put it on hold until we were more financially stable. I should mention, at the same time all of this was going on, I was writing books. I wanted to be an author, so I was constantly writing short stories, novellas, etc., in hopes of one day selling traditionally. My boyfriend never read anything I wrote and insisted it was a nepotism game and I'd never sell something, so it was a foolish dream. Really messed up that he never read anything you wrote. Like, I can't
Dude.
imagine being with a partner who, like, never read anything I wrote.
Yeah, or like,
As a person who writes.
or never watch a YouTube video you were on.
Never came to one of my shows.
That's not supporting. He's not supporting you. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Dang, am I supporting my girlfriend? She made me a tote bag and I barely take it out because it's so special to me.
It's so special.
I ruined so many things.
You can't take it out.
I can't.
I kept doing it anyway. I love to write. I met my best friend while writing. I was looking for a translation for something and she offered to translate it for me. We kept talking after that and we became very close. She lived in France and we texted each other every day for hours a day. She kept me company during very long days at work where I had nothing to do but wait for an email or phone to ring.
I see you.
Because there was no one local I could really be friends with, she became my only real contact that I had.
And
I
they're-
loved her dearly.
Sorry, are they in France right now?
Yeah.
I see you.
No, the friend lived in France. I don't know if
Oh,
OP's in
still,
France.
I see you.
Okay.
Fringe activities are about to happen.
Fringe activities. After my boyfriend and I were together for 10 years, you were with him for 10 years and he never read any of your writing?
He didn't have the time. He was too busy looking for people to see his opportunities and his potential.
Yikes. We agreed to get married. I invited my best friend to be my maid of honor and she flew over from France. We still had no money, and because of various tensions with family members, we basically eloped. It was just me, my boyfriend turned husband, his best friend, and mine. We went to the courthouse, exchanged private vows separately at a park, went for a lovely long walk across a beautiful bridge, and had sushi for dinner. It was lovely at the time, barely costing more than a few $100s. Though in retrospect, I do miss the fact I never got a proper wedding, and wonder if the lack of care leading up to it meant more than it seemed at the time. His mother, who knew all about this in advance, did not agree. She refused to speak or see me afterwards because of the disrespect. She never told us she didn't approve of us getting eloped, but she blamed me for the wedding anyway. While we did interact afterwards, it was always very strained and even worse than it had been before. Always subtle digs and clear signs she did not like me, despite me being in their family and living by them for over a decade at this point. My husband respected her opinion greatly, so her lack of affection only further caused strain between us.
Dude, I almost got in a relationship like this. Family.
Did not like me.
I don't know. People comment below. My thought is if your family doesn't like, if the partner's family doesn't like you, limiting contact
Yeah,
so you're not exposed to that resentment every time.
all the time.
Because do you know how many little wedges it takes to break open a rock?
One.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot. One big one, yes.
One big one.
But
lot
whenever
of
you have a
small
lot
ones.
of small ones that every day
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
guess what's
And-
gonna happen to the rock?
Like a shatter.
Gonna
I
split.
feel like this is a test.
No, you're right.
What happens to rocks? I don't know.
Your rock knowledge is very limited. So
Limited. Throughout all of this, my husband's work life was complicated. His mom's company sold, so he started working at a wedding venue. He'd run bar on weekend weddings and do groundskeeping work at the venue during the week off and on. It meant that I'd be working full-time, 9 to 5, not including the 1.5-hour commute, Monday through Friday. and he'd be working 12-hour or more shifts over the weekend and do very little during the week. If I asked to do something, go out to dinner, take a walk, visit some colleagues that I was becoming friendly with and hoping to make friends with, visit my own family that happened to be around, he was always busy on weekends and he was too tired during the week.
How is he too tired during the week?
Yeah, you need, after 2 12-hour shifts, I feel like you need like 2 or 3 days
Yeah.
to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Or
I don't
recover,
know.
but-
We do 2 12-hour shifts a week. Like, yeah, maybe he's doing more on his feet, but it's at a bar, so it's not
Yeah.
like super, like, he's not doing the groundskeeping work for 12 hours.
Yeah. Also, I think your activity outside of where you work also
Yeah.
reflects how tired you are. Because I feel like the more you do outside of your work, like I've gotten more energy recently because I'm working out more.
Yeah. I have less energy because I haven't been able to work out.
Yeah, so
Dang shoulder.
that's my thought. This, again, not supporting you.
Yeah.
You want to do these things? Lack of support.
I felt very isolated and alone. We already had one dog and cat, but the dog was my husband's, and he refused to let me do anything with her because she was his dog.
You guys are married. What?
So I got a dog for myself and adored him. I took my dog everywhere, and while it wasn't the best dog in the world, he was my dog and my buddy. My husband hated my dog. He constantly put him down, called him stupid, insisted he was my responsibility and mine alone. If my dog threw up in the middle of the night and my husband noticed it while going to the bathroom, he would wake me up and tell me to clean up my dog's mess. If my dog chewed garbage, it was my dog and my problem. I would always take care of things if his dog caused trouble, but my dog was my responsibility. And yes, when he was upset, he did hit or throw my dog across the room. I excuse this behavior because he would always tell me he didn't hit the dog that hard and that he had to be an alpha and it wasn't really harmful because he never hit me. What?
No, there's different ways to be an alpha to a dog.
I'm sorry. He hit and threw the dog across the room. That's full on animal abuse.
Yeah. Also,
Leave that man. And also his excuse of, oh, well, it's fine because I didn't hit the dog that hard and I've never hit you. Concerning. Super concerning.
Because first I'd probably hit you and then the dog.
Yeah, he's like, well, I haven't. Like, imagine telling someone that. Like, imagine telling your friend. They were like, oh my God, he hits the dog. And you're like, no, don't worry, because he said he didn't hit me, so it's fine. I'd be like, he said what?
Dude, girl.
Why would he even bring that up?
You should see clearly now. The red flag's there.
Yes. But over time, I was very aware of the fact that my husband was becoming angrier and angrier. And I would be doing what I could not to make him mad and worried about what would be the next thing that would set him off. You are in an abusive relationship.
There you go. Definition right there.
And it's going to be really hard to get out of because you can't see that right now. But I really hope that you have a support system around you. My husband would continue to say he hated his job, but when it came to looking for other jobs, he would only submit one application at a time and wait to hear back rather than doing batch submissions. He refused to let me look at his resume, even though I consistently always was hired very quickly when I transitioned to increasingly more high-paying jobs to try to cover our bills. He would create businesses, I would cover bills and try to manage things and always offer support. His businesses continued to fail because he just never did anything to actually get out and market himself appropriately. So he'd continue working at the wedding venue, but complain nonstop about it. It was exhausting. Time went on and politics became politics. And after Trump was first elected president, my husband decided he didn't want to stay in the country anymore and we should think of immigrating. He told me that the best way to get a visa was to be a student and suggested I could finally go to graduate school so we could start an immigration process elsewhere. I was ecstatic and looked up all the foreign universities that had programs I really wanted to take. He vetoed almost all of them. Leave him and then go to those foreign universities.
The only pattern that I see that this relationship is working is when he's using you.
Yes. Yeah, when he wants something, he's like, okay, you can go to university because I want to leave the country.
Yeah.
He vetoed almost all of them, explaining where he wanted to live and what lifestyle he wanted. No cities, no big infrastructures. He wanted to stay rural.
Dude, what are you going to do?
Also, you're not going to find a graduate school. It's going to be very hard to find a graduate school in a rural area.
Unless you do it online.
Yeah.
Which I don't think anyone, hey, I'm going to go to the University of China, but I'm going to do it online.
Yeah, crazy. He selected the area he wanted to move to And I said that the universities there had only course adjacent things to the topic that I wanted to study, medieval history. There were history programs, but nothing I had originally been interested in. He insisted, though, and since it felt like the only way to both move and get the degree I wanted, I agreed to apply. I was accepted at both schools I applied to, and we selected one school and we moved. Why? So frustrating. I don't want you to do this for him. Leave for yourself.
Yeah.
I was given a full ride for the university, but because I wasn't working, I took out a student loan to cover my living expenses over the 2 years to get my MA. My husband said he would look for work. While all of this was going on, my best friend and I continued to be very close, and now you're presumably close. I don't know where you guys moved to, but
Yeah, I would say physically
presumably
closer.
closer.
Probably not by much.
Yeah,
But
like
definitely
now maybe in Europe,
instead of halfway across the world, you're just
a
now
couple countries away in
a
Europe.
couple countries away.
And my husband and her started to get close as well. Oh no!
Like I said, French
Oh,
activities.
no. We'd play online video games together and chat constantly. But I noticed in the year before we moved out of the country that she started talking to me less and less, and to him more and more. Because of the time difference, I would be working while she was off work in France. He'd be home during the weekdays, and so they'd start playing video games together. She stopped texting me during my workday because she was playing games with him. I mentioned I felt sad because, hey, you're my friend and I'm working a receptionist job. It would be nice to have someone to talk to while waiting for a phone to ring. But I was also of the belief that it wasn't fair to monopolize anyone's time, and if she and my husband were friends, that was good, right? We can all be friends together. And since I trusted them both, bad idea, then it didn't matter if they enjoyed spending time with each other. I was just being jealous for no reason.
And I wonder how you thought that way.
Oh, man.
It's as if there was a light that was powered by gas and your husband
Yup.
gave it to you.
And he's really good. He's really good at using it. Still, I started to feel left out. Yeah, rightfully so. My friend also was having personal issues with her lady parts. I won't go into detail here, but she would discuss them with me in detail for a while, and I would try to comfort her, but after a while I felt very uncomfortable with her describing the specific details of her parts to me, and I very awkwardly eventually asked her not to discuss it with me. My husband felt it was unfair that I was withdrawing my support from her when she needed that support. I think she needs a gynecologist.
I'm not a gynecologist, but I'll take a look. If it was one person. Sorry, that's just a joke, they say. They made t-shirts of this.
And that if I was a real friend, I should be there for her since she had no one else.
Bro.
You're not her gynecologist.
Yeah, dude. Also, you're doing it again.
You're doing it.
Anytime you need something from your wife, you're giving it to her.
Yeah, it's like, you should be there. And because you're not there, I'll be there for her.
Well, he's probably like, I don't want to hear about these girl parts. You gotta.
Yeah.
I can't do
I can't
it.
do it. He asked if I was comfortable with him still discussing the issues with her.
Like I said, she's got a cave, and somebody's need to park in there. You need somebody to park in there.
Terrible. And I told him I was still uncomfortable, but I eventually agreed because I felt so guilty about withdrawing support from her.
Wow, the
Girl!
gaslighting.
Girl! He just asked you if he could talk about her, like,
Her
whoa,
vajayjay.
that is totally inappropriate.
But babe, I think I can help her.
I want to be, I realized I have a great passion to be a gynecologist,
All of a sudden.
but
I'm
I think
gonna
I'm going to do
enroll.
freelance. Our conversations continued to dwindle. When we moved and I started to graduate work, it was even worse.
Dude, I'm sorry. I see t-shirt potential here.
Freelance
gynecologist.
My husband's previous work ethic continued. He sent out 1 or 2 applications, but never heard back. And he started complaining about how he was getting immigrant jobs, like being wait staff or box moving, etc. And he was better than that. Dude, you were literally working as a bartender before. What
Yeah.
other experience do you have?
Didn't you see he has so much potential and people just assume he doesn't have it, but he does, and they should assume that he does have potential and just give it to him because he's really smart.
Yeah. It's
Remember
the
that?
Same, it's literally the same excuses he was using back home.
Different ball game, man.
Except now he has a different excuse. He's saying, oh, because I'm an immigrant in this country. That's why.
Dude,
Dude, I think it's just you.
no, you're also from the United States, and
Yeah.
you have so many more other resources and opportunities that other people haven't had, so you can also use that.
Yep.
You could
You
literally
had your
learn.
student loans paid off, dude.
Yeah, you could literally learn another language and be a second language teacher or whatever. You can do that.
He insisted how unfair it was. He was a white male American. He had a BA in criminal justice. He absolutely could have gotten a better job, but he kept refusing to let me help with his CV, and he would not batch submit for work.
He's not trying at all.
He just one application, then wait 4 weeks before submitting another. They spent all day chatting with each other. Yeah, he's not spending any time trying to find jobs. I'd be in school all day and then come home to write papers and study. My loans paid all our bills. They did invite me to play a game with them, but I hated the game they were playing and I needed to study. So I just gave up and tapped out. But I got more and more resentful because I never got to spend time with either of them anymore while they were playing online games together. They're cheating on you.
Yep.
On our 12-year anniversary, I
No,
can't
no, wait,
believe
no,
you've
no,
been
no.
together with him for 12 years.
No. I need a pit stop. What is this man about to pull on your 12-year anniversary?
Your 12-year anniversary.
Is he about to come out with a secret? Does he have a new plan? Is he gonna go to France now?
And he's like, I have to. Well, I think they might be in France because they're hanging out so much with this woman. So
I
feel
thought it
like
was just virtually.
No, they're hanging out in person.
What?
I think so.
What?
Yeah. Unless I misread that, I'm pretty sure they're hanging out. In
I thought it was
person.
just video games. If they're hanging out in person, dude, we already know what's happening.
Maybe they are hanging out virtually.
Oh no.
That's yeah. Maybe that makes more
I
sense.
don't know. But I do. Girl, I don't. What does OP need? I mean, I know she knows. She keeps saying then boyfriend, but what's her line here? You know?
Oh yeah, they played online video games.
Okay, so definitely emotionally cheating. Definitely being on Discord servers overnight, saying my little kitten.
Yeah.
He's definitely telling her
Weird.
about how he's aspiring to be a freelance gynecologist and all the things he's looking to help her
Yeah,
out
and
with.
She's like, oh, I'll be your first client.
Sign me up.
Not good. On our 12-year anniversary,
Ah,
my husband and I went out to a restaurant, and he couldn't stop bringing her up. I furiously asked if we could go one night without mentioning her name,
oh gosh.
and he said I was acting irrationally.
Don't be rash.
She's his friend too, and how is it fair that he can't mention his friends around me? I felt like she wasn't my friend anymore, and I admittedly called her a witch and several names that weren't nice because I was so resentful of how they were treating me. I was told again I was overreacting, they were being nothing but nice to me, and they were allowed to be friends. It wasn't fair to isolate them when they were doing nothing wrong. I was also reminded that it was my fault for not being a better support for my friend. She was only talking to him more because she needed help with her medical issue. He's not a doctor.
Yeah, he is. He's a freelance gynecologist,
He's a freelance
Sophia.
gynecologist. And I already told them both that I didn't want to discuss her issue. So it was on me for giving permission for them to speak, and on me for getting upset when they were doing exactly what I told them. I felt more guilty. Gaslighting. She came to visit us a week later for my birthday, and everything felt awkward and sour. My husband admitted he hated living in the country we're in and suggested that we look at moving to France. I wonder why.
No.
What's in France?
way.
Shock.
French
Wow.
activities.
Maybe he can professionally become a gynecologist in France.
Dude, you're not going to get a job there. You don't know French. I know that.
Man doesn't know a thing.
He doesn't.
He doesn't know a thing.
Oh, dude, I have so many thoughts about this guy.
I was so exhausted by his refusal to look for work and everything else that I just said. I'm only half a semester into my degree. We can't move to France right now. He suggested he could go first, check it out, and we could look into moving later.
Stop it. Stop. We already, stop.
Uh-huh.
Dude,
Yeah, maybe he has a place to stay already.
bro.
Maybe he has a bed to share already. I just said fine.
Oh my gosh,
He
girl.
and she would return to France together. He'd look at the area and see if it suited our needs, and he'd report back if he liked it. He booked a flight on her plane out, and the departure at the airport was excruciatingly depressing. A few days later, he texted me how happy he was there and how I'd love it. I told him I missed him, and after a pause, he told me he didn't miss me.
Oh my gosh.
I hung up on him, and he texted me that he wanted a divorce.
No. And I bet you $10 he bought a one-way ticket there.
Yeah.
One-way ticket to France.
It was the start of finals week for my first term in graduate school. He literally just wanted a ticket into the country. He wanted to use you to get a visa here.
He did all that, and now you're stuck halfway through a semester doing something he suggested to make him happy, and you're stuck with that.
He gave me a list of my faults. I didn't clean the house the way he preferred. I didn't brush my teeth good enough. I brushed them with neurotic attention because he kept hounding me about it. He hated the pets. He felt like I wanted a caretaker more than a husband. I admit to not cleaning or cooking much, but I was working nonstop, and my loans were what kept us afloat. Yeah, he wasn't doing anything. He played video games throughout the work week, and I'd come home to find him continuing to play games with my friend. I could have cleaned and done more, but honestly, he was already home, and I felt like he could at least keep the house clean. He insisted he wasn't having an affair. Right, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course. No fringe activities.
At the time, I really wanted to believe him. Even so, I texted my friend I never wanted to speak to her again. I also asked him if I could keep all the pets, including his dog, since I did love her, and he agreed by saying, if you're going to extort me for the dog, then fine, take her. He doesn't care about his dog. I thanked him and moved on. The only other thing I asked for is that he tell me when his father passes, because I loved his father very much and even called him dad. He agreed and asked me for $4,000. I just said yes because I was tired.
What?
He said, yeah, I'll tell you if my dad passes, but you have to pay me $4,000.
Dude.
Stop agreeing to everything he does.
Oh my gosh.
Stop it. Stop.
Dude, what?
This man's a freaking cheater.
Hey,
And he sucks.
We're breaking up. Could you also just give me $4,000?
Please. And you just said yes? You didn't have to say yes.
Well, technically, he was there to give her support and clean the house and cook. Remember that?
He didn't do any of that, though.
Yeah, he did. Don't you remember?
Yeah,
Don't you remember,
gaslighter.
Sophia? This whole story's been about that. Like, that's how much gaslighting has been going on. Where he got he. How can you break up with someone, move to another country with her friend, and then get $4,000? How does he have this kind of control?
It's crazy. He said we would absolutely stay in touch and still be friends afterwards. Okay, I believe him. We finalized the divorce at the end of February 2020. Yay, the vid. I was forced to move back in with my parents. They had a secondary home nearby after also working to immigrate. Because of the vid, I just did my studies long distance. Then I find out that my student loan payment was not enough to give him $4,000. Also, I don't even think you could give him that $4,000 from a student loan payment. Student loan payments are for student loans, not for whatever he's using them for.
He actually, don't you remember his freelance gynecologist courses he's taking?
Yeah,
he needs $4,000 to help his friend.
He gotta help his friend.
He's got to. How selfish! How selfish of you not to get $4,000.
I told him I didn't have the money to give it to him. He didn't even let me explain why. He just ended the call. I never spoke to him again. So much for being friends. OP, you need therapy so desperately.
Dude, she doesn't even know.
She doesn't even know.
What?
Like, why would you want to be friends with this crazy man?
What?
And then in the span of a year, all 3 pets passed away. One of them very suddenly. Aside from my parents, I was very alone, with no friends in a foreign country, trying to complete my graduate studies, feeling betrayed by the people I love most in the world. I fell into a deep depression. Work became the only thing I could do in order to function because it kept me from thinking about anything else. I was one of the few people who completed their MA on time during the vid at my university because I just didn't give myself time to stop. I finished with a 4.0 in a degree I hadn't even wanted to get in the first place. I was now a medical historian rather than a medieval historian.
But babe, this
is like the same thing.
This is what the boyfriend said.
But babe, they both start with M. Just become a medical
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
I kept working. I tried getting into a PhD program, and very few universities were accepting new students because of the vid. Someone I had applied to forwarded me an application for a project that was completely different from everything I'd ever done. Still in medical history, but so extremely contemporary that it was nothing close to my research profile. I submitted an application anyway because, unlike my husband, I always submit to jobs and make a decision after I got hired. I got hired. It was in France. Dude, stop. I moved to France in October 2021, taught myself a language I didn't speak, took care of a home without a caretaker husband, adopted a new pupper so I could finally no longer be alone after the huge losses of 2020 and 2021. A pup that has never and will never be treated the way my ex treated my old dog. I mean, again, if you have a partner who's mistreating your animals, please don't stay with that partner. Get that animal out of that situation.
There are bigger things coming. Please break up with them too.
And yesterday, I defended my PhD, ranked very good and excellent, and with an enthusiastic jury encouraging me to publish and to transition into public policy work. It's work I'm genuinely excited about, and it's focused in a domain where I can do a lot of global health good. And while all this was going on, because I continued to write novels in 2023, I submitted a novel to a literary agent, got a deal, and sold it to a Big 5 publisher.
Oh, wow.
It was just published last month, and my advance is enough to pay off all of my outstanding student loans. So far, reviews are going well. Heck yeah, man.
This is just a fever
This
dream.
is great.
Not like a fever dream, but
Yeah.
what just
Everything
happened?
really turned around for OP.
See, okay. Remember whenever the boyfriend was like, I have so much potential, I'm so smart?
Yeah.
And she said that? I was like, in order for you to actually achieve that, you need to have like a downfall or drive or downfall of some sort for you to achieve that.
Yeah.
This is what happened to OP.
Yeah, she hit kind of rock bottom, was treated terribly by people around her, was
Yeah.
not pursuing any of her own dreams for what she wanted to do, and then hit this rock bottom moment and was like, I have the drive to actually get myself out of it, and did.
And did. Because when you're rock bottom, what's the only way to go?
Up.
Please let me in.
No.
That's right. Dude, it's crazy. The whole time you were
Yeah.
the smart and intelligent one.
Yeah,
Not
man.
him.
He was just putting you down. My 2 major life goals have been accomplished between 1 month of each other, and I have made a new list of goals to achieve that I'm very much looking forward to working on. To no one's surprise, my ex-husband and ex-best friend are married to each other.
Oh!
They got married a year after our divorce. He is listed as working at a business where he fabricates clothing or some sort. The man never once picked up a needle in all our time working together. I almost guarantee it's another nonsense business he made up. There's no marketing, no signs, no way to contact the store, no storefront. It's a joke. But he's living in France. We're on opposite sides of the country. I've not run into either of them. I hope they're very happy together. My one burning moment of rage was only this. I discovered his dad passed last year on my own. No one told me.
Dang.
No one reached out. I guess he was still bitter that he lost $4,000. He didn't lose $4,000. He never had $4,000.
He just said, I wonder if I can just get $4,000 from this chick.
And you almost gave it to him.
That does suck. Having to learn. I'm surprised you didn't stay in contact with like his mom though.
Yeah, well, maybe the mom's not around or passed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would have gave him the responsibility to do that.
Yeah.
I'd probably reach out to his sister.
Something
or a
like that.
some sort of
Yeah,
family member.
Not him. But it broke my heart, and I definitely cried. This is where the question comes in. My sister loathes my ex-husband. She wants nothing more than to take a copy of my dissertation and my book and mail it to him. His address is publicly listed because of this fake business of his, and tell him just how stupid he was for constantly diminishing me this whole time. She wants to list all of his flaws and rake him through the coals for his behavior. By the way, I'd rake you guys through the coals if you didn't listen to full episodes of stories just like this.
Yeah.
Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up Poke Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story.
Should she do it?
I don't think so. I think you should. You are in a great place. You got this book published. You got the dissertation. You're happy living in France on your own. You got your sister supporting you. Don't bring him back into your life.
You're punching thin air, dude.
He's gone. Let him
not behind
stay
it.
gone.
Yeah. And also, how much hold and gaslighting he put OP through, he could probably do it again and re-enter into her life.
I don't want him to come back and see that she's successful and be like, oh my God, like I would love to, like I've always loved you, blah, blah, blah. Because I feel like OP would take him back.
Yeah.
Don't let him worm his way back into your life, OP. Let him stay gone.
Yeah. Honestly, sister, write the letter, send it to some address. Don't send it to him.
Don't send it.
Do
send
not
it to
send it
some
to him.
random address.
Yeah. And then they're like,
what is
huh?
this?
And then you have a link to the post below it, and it's like, oh wow,
Oh,
okay.
Interesting.
This makes so much sense.
Yeah, they're like, wow, this is a good book.
Commenter here. Hey, I actually got the book and letter, and that was a lot.
But there is a little bit left. A part of me is happy to let her do it and rub my accomplishments and my success in their faces, but another part of me doesn't want the drama that it might punt up. Yeah, don't. I don't have anything nice to say to them. I do hope they'll be happy together, since clearly it was worth ruining my life at the time for their happiness.
Gosh.
It's a miracle I pulled through as well as I did, but I also don't want to be aware of them anymore. And somehow, I feel like this will just make things messy. Then again, after all the time I've been put down, it's nice to have someone stand up for me. And there is a part of me that can't help thinking he could have had everything he wanted if he just stayed patient. We could be living in France together, having a beautiful life with a PhD that I've grown to love and cherish and be proud of, and a book deal that's helping to fund my lifestyle. But instead, he was a failure of a partner and a man, and he deserves to be ashamed.
He didn't want that life with you.
The thing is that you were never going to get that life with him if you stayed with him. Like, there was no patience. He would have brought you down with him.
I still feel hints of OP hoping that it worked out.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
yeah, she's not over him.
She was with him for 12 years.
That's true. So would I be the a-hole if I let my sister go through with her plan?
This is your what?
Wouldn't be the a-hole, but it wouldn't be good. Be the a-hole to yourself.
This isn't revenge.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
We clickbaited you.
Nothing. It feels like you just want him back.
We clickbaited ourselves
Dang.
too. Yeah.
It literally just feels like you want to send it to Tim so that he realizes that he made a mistake and that
comes crawling back.
You're really the love of his life. Like, don't try and lure him back.
She needs to go fall in love, not like with another person.
Man.
Or French man. But she just needs to fall in love with life and fall in love with other things.
I refused to adopt my daughter's half-sister because I just can't.
She's just not cool enough.
Doesn't even like the color purple. My husband and I adopted my daughter, Sophia, 5 female, 3 years ago.
What?
Sophia is biologically my half-sister. My father and his wife passed away very suddenly, leaving behind Sophia and his wife's other daughter, Hannah, age 9. By the way, this comes from user earclear3723. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. Hannah is currently in the care system, and she lives in a group home that is equipped for her needs. We try to get the girls together every couple of weeks for supervised visits. Sophia has always been aware that she is adopted, which normally happen with their maternal grandmother, who I'll call Lori. Lori has been combative with us since we met her because she thought it was wrong for us not to adopt Hannah as well as Sophia, even though she is well aware of why it wasn't the right choice for our family. All this to say, when I say I think I know where Hannah has been getting certain ideas, I am pretty certain. Hannah has always made little comments about living with us one day. She used to say, one day when me and Sophia live together, or reference the girls sharing a room, or talk about pets she wants when she can move home. We've always tried to play this off so as not to upset her, and I really figured she would grow out of it. Her social worker said she definitely would grow out of it, but it never happened. Nowadays, she makes comments about being good so she can come with us, and makes an over-the-top effort to show off her achievements when we're there on visit. She even started being disparaging about anything Sophia does and constantly one-ups her. It's really sad to see, and no one listens when I say that someone needs to stop feeding into all this.
You're also feeding into.
Like you.
You can be the change you want to see in the world.
I know they all want her to behave, but Lori is constantly validating her, saying this stuff, and I hate it. The social worker just says it's good that Hannah is making strides with her behavior. This just seems cruel and manipulative, like they're letting this carrot dangle in front of this kid so that they can benefit without thinking what this will do to her. So a month ago, we were out, and Hannah once again brought up that she wants a horse if she comes to live with us. Lori smiled and said that would be really nice, but she'll have to be a good girl to get a horse. And I just looked at her like, what the F? I told Hannah that she wouldn't be able to live with us because she was very loved at the home where she is, and they take really good care of her, and that we couldn't do enough of a good job at that. Hannah didn't really seem to understand what I was saying, but she didn't hug us goodbye like normal when we dropped her back. When we picked her up the last 2 times to go out, she was really quiet and sullen and didn't want to do anything. She wouldn't play or take part in anything we did, and according to Lori, Hannah has been acting up at home and school as well. She's blaming me. I take the blame for this change. I get it, but I still feel like ultimately someone needed to have that conversation with Hannah, because how long was she meant to believe she could earn being adopted? And how bad was it going going to be to come to the realization in however many years that everyone had lied to her. But I'm also worried that I've damaged things because if Hannah stops wanting to see Sophia, I'll have ruined their relationship. And I'm not a trained professional. I maybe didn't say it in the right way. Her social worker didn't think it was a problem, so maybe I should have left it. I feel crappy about it, even though I don't think I was wrong in my intentions. So am I the a-hole? Edit. Why didn't we adopt Hannah? Hannah has medical and psychological complexities as a result of her early life that are not insignificant. We are not equipped financially, materially, or emotionally to provide the care she needs and deserves. Why doesn't Lori have custody of Hannah? Lori has health issues and lives in a senior community. She cannot take care of Hannah full time. Am I the a-hole has no consensus, but OP is voted not the a-hole. Relevant comments. OP's clarifying her relationship with her father and his wife before their passings and if Sophia understands she's adopted. OP says, firstly, I never met Hannah's mother. My father was absent in my life for many years before they got together because he was a regular user and a bad person. I saw him very rarely, and even then it was mostly because he was begging me for something. He was not in my life. I only met Sophia after he passed away. Yes, Sophia knows she's adopted. She doesn't know that my dad was her dad, but she knows we are related, but not her biological parent. And yes, if Sophia wasn't my half-sister, I wouldn't have adopted her because we never planned to adopt. We planned to have a biological child, but Sophia came into our lives and the plan changed. That's not a gotcha. I didn't grow up my whole life planning to adopt, so how would this situation have come about if she wasn't related to me? So we didn't choose not to adopt Hannah because of some misplaced hatred for a woman we never met. We chose not to adopt her because we were not financially or emotionally equipped to give her the care she needs. And that goes for every other child on earth that we haven't adopted. In life, it's your job to know what you can take on. OP explains her conversations with the social worker about Sophia and Hannah having chances of being adopted together. OP said the social worker told me repeatedly that they had almost no chance of being placed together. Sophia had a very good chance of adoption, and Hannah didn't. They were going to place them separately after a period of time so that Sophia could get adopted. If it wasn't us, it was probably going to be someone else after a period of trauma for her. If they said they were definitely going to keep them together, maybe we'd have chosen differently, but I still think we give our daughter a great life and are good parents to her. We have her checking with a child psychologist, and we're doing our best. Where is Hannah's biological father? Why isn't he stepping up? OP says, I don't know where her father is. I never met her mother or inquired about her biological father. OP clarifies details on how Hannah was placed at the group home instead of a foster home. OP says, I didn't choose to send her to the care home. They have a shortage of appropriate foster homes for her, and that's where they placed her. I had no say in that or what level of support she had. Sure, Sophia could have been living with Hannah, most likely in the same group home. If, as an adult, she thinks that would have been better for her, I'll take the blame for that. I don't agree, but that will be up to her. Taking in Hannah is not an option for us. We don't have the resources, materially or emotionally, or within our lifestyle to provide care for her. Taking on more than you can handle does no good for anyone, least of all for our daughter, whose quality of life would take a nosedive. Commenter says, honestly, just get a child psychologist for your daughter and work this out professionally. Clearly, the social worker and Lori are more interested in keeping Hannah's behavior right, even with lies. Being told to be good to get a place in your home is so cruel. It also may not be good for Hannah to see her sister get the happily ever after that she won't get. Sometimes we need to let kids act out so they can process their emotions. I think you need to pull back and focus on your daughter and what's good for her, not the a-hole. OP says Sophia has regular check-ins with a child psychologist. We're not doing them weekly anymore because that's not what she's advised, but if she spots any issues, we can definitely increase. And there's an update. Hi. Not sure if anyone wanted this update, but I hate reading posts that don't have an update, so I'm updating for anyone who might feel the same. First of all, thank you to everyone who gave helpful advice and who was genuine in their responses. After reading everything, I still think I was probably a little bit of an a-hole to spring that comment on Hannah like that. My frustration got the better of me, and I can't put the genie back in the bottle, but I'll always regret it. That being said, I still also think it's best that she knows. I spoke to the child psychologist that Sophia sees, and she said that there was no reason to cut contact between the girls, and that it's always recommended unless in cases of actual abuse. So we've continued the visits. However, as some people suggested, we've now stopped doing them with Lori or me involved. The girls now see each other at Hannah's group home, and a care worker is able to supervise the visits. I'm not sure if in the long run this is how we will do things because I'm not entirely comfortable with it, but I think it's better that the girls have as an independent a relationship as possible. By the way, you can independently listen to full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. All you have to do is search OK Storytime, and then the full archive is at your fingertips.
Really unfortunate unfortunate for Hannah to be in this place where your sibling has been adopted, but you are projected to kind of never be adopted because of her age and because of the extra care that she requires. But I think in any situation where adoption, foster care, like any sort of that stuff is involved, I think honesty with kids is like super important. Obviously, you want to give that honesty in age-appropriate way, but I think that lying to them or giving them false hope is just not helpful at all.
I'm pretty sure you actually can't do this with twins, or maybe that's at birth. I don't know. It's hard. I feel like there's information we probably still don't have. Being a social worker's got to be so rough, dude. Imagine like you have to play by the playbook of lie. Do the worst, most painful lie to say to this child that thinks they're going to eventually get adopted from good behavior. That's insane.
Yeah, just because you want them to behave a certain way.
Well, no, I think it's the thought is like, well, eventually they'll just get over it, and then we never even have to have that other shoe drop.
Yes.
She'll move on.
But I think
like,
their point is, oh, well, this kid will never have a tantrum if she thinks that. Like, it's like Santa. Like, they're using, adoption like Santa.
Well, let's finish this story. As for Lori, we're cutting down on contact with her. I know she's Sophia's grandmother, and I don't doubt that she loves her, but she hasn't been a constructive influence so far, especially when we told her about the visiting plan going forward. So we're keeping her at arm's length. Still see Sophia if she wants, but at our convenience, and with the understanding that she will be more respectful. I'm not sure what else to include, as it's not been a very explosive conclusion to the issue, but I think things have worked out for the best. Thank you again to everyone who provided feedback. We have some relevant comments. Number 1, seems like you found a good solution. You should, of course, ask Sophia after the visit how it went and all that. OP says she's been twice, and she had a good time overall. There's a couple of things that she wasn't used to, but nothing that a kid wouldn't experience in kindergarten. It's just a different environment. But we're going to keep checking in with her. Comment 2 says, does Sophia want to visit Hannah? Does she enjoy these visits? And does Hannah want Sophia to visit? OP says, Sophia likes visiting Hannah. I wouldn't say it's something she talks or thinks about in between visits, but she knows it's part of her routine. She's happy to go. I guess it's like seeing a cousin. You don't necessarily miss them or beg to see them, but you have fun when you're together. Hannah seems to be happy to see Sophia from what I've observed. Hannah experiences certain delays, so she and Sophia are not too far apart in interest or development. I know that may not always be the case as Hannah gets older and the age gap may become more pronounced, but for now it seems to work. The plan, if Hannah gets older and starts to resent Sophia out of jealousy, OP says, unfortunately, that's not in our control. If contact between the girls starts to become a negative experience, then we will revisit that with guidance from our child psychologist. Will OP and her husband be able to adopt Hannah at some point in the future? OP says, time will not change the fact that we're not able to provide her with the home and care that she needs. And that is the end of that story.
I told my sister to leave her husband because we don't like him.
I mean, it sounds like he's unlikable.
Trigger warning, emotional. My sister, 28, is in an emotionally harmful marriage, and she has admitted that to me. I played nice to her husband, 30, for the past few years, even though I know how he truly was to her behind closed doors. The incident that happened that finally made me and my whole family step up and say something to him and her was this. By the way, this comes from Hyper Ashley, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, we went on a week-long family trip, and at the end of the trip, he treated her so badly. There was a theater room in the rental house, and we were all watching a movie. He asked her to get up from her comfortable chair to go and cuddle with him. She declined because her chair was more comfortable than his, and she was in front of her entire family and didn't want to cuddle. The entire next day after the cuddling incident, he stonewalled her. He would hold her 11-month-old son and not let her have him, even when the baby called out for his mama. After lunch, we decided to walk along a boardwalk, and that's when things took a turn for the worst. During the car ride, none of the family was in the car with them. He said he didn't know what the F was wrong with her, and that he was going to go home when we all got back to the rental. Then he finished with a F you. My sister said she didn't say anything back to him, 1, because she was in shock, and 2, because she didn't know what she did to make him so angry.
The cuddle incident, of course.
My family naturally saw how upset my sister was and stepped in. My mom and I took the baby from him and took my sister aside while my dad and my husband had a talk with him. My dad told him he was acting like a little witch and to go home if he was going to act like that. My husband said, let's go get the car seat out of your car and you can leave. He then opened up to my husband and said when she refused to cuddle with me, it made me feel like she was disgusted by me.
Oh my God. Get over it.
Get over it.
Get over it. Give yourself a hug. It's much needed, my friend. maybe, I don't know, get like a snake so
Yes.
you can get a
It can
little,
give you a really
little-
tight hug.
little tight hug. Your last hug, maybe. Get that anaconda wrapped around a little python.
He decided not to go home after all, dang, and instead have an adult conversation with my sister where he told her it was her fault that he acted that way. Was that an adult conversation? He continued
Who's
to
defining this adult conversation.
He
Doesn't seem
continued
like
to
it.
stonewall her for the rest of the trip and the next 2 days after they got back home. Before we left the rental, I told my sister she should leave him because we all are afraid that he will turn physically harmful towards her and maybe their son too. He's
I
not-
don't. Well, all right. I don't think this guy is emotionally
not that we know.
mature.
Yeah.
But if there's other information that we haven't seen, like maybe that's true. But I think it is a stretch based on the information right now to say
Sure.
that he might become physically abusive.
I think, however, I do think it is always a risk when you see someone being emotionally harmful. That is always a
Yeah.
possibility,
But
and I think it is better to be more.
I feel like what I'm seeing is like he's just being like a little pouty baby.
Well, I think that is kind of limiting because he's screaming at her for not.
Oh,
sitting
that's true.
with
He
him.
did say the F you.
Yeah,
I forgot about
I
that.
think
He
that
was
yeah,
screaming.
I think that would limit
He was screaming.
what he's doing. He's highly unstable and has pew pews because he's a cop. Also, he's in mandatory therapy from his work because they too think he's unstable. Uh-oh.
Red alert. Red alert.
Note, a few things I forgot to mention. This happened a few weeks ago, and my sister and brother-in-law have since had a discussion. She has decided to stay with him, but she is looking for a therapist for herself. I hope the therapist tells her to leave. She asked him to go to couples counseling, but he refused. He got a job in a different state and is now going to be moving them a few states away from everyone. No. He's isolating her.
Yeah.
She will be at least 6 hours away, and we're all so scared for her, but we can't force her to leave him.
Yeah. No, this does feel like it does feel like it's entering into a situation that's going to be harder and harder to get out of.
Yep. Comment 1 says you have to be completely dangerous before your employer steps in with mandatory therapy. Don't just tell your sister to leave. Tell her to come and stay with you and bring the baby. Keep telling her over and over she needs to go to therapy as well. OP says, I've told her repeatedly that she and the baby have a room at my house, and I've also encouraged her to go to therapy. Comment 2 says, not the a-hole. Him being a cop is a huge problem if he acts like this. I bet he only tells that work-related therapist what they want to hear. He's probably a great actor at work. I hope your sister can see a therapist too, because I don't think she sees the harm through her eyes. It sounds like he has already affected her confidence. I pray she gets the help she needs. OP says she is currently looking for a therapist. And there is an update.
Okay.
My sister sat down with him and told him that she was looking for a therapist and that she was unsure about the move. He seems to think it's because of her anxiety about it being such a big move and nothing more. He did tell her that he could look for a job in our state if she really wanted to, but she decided she wanted to focus on going to therapy first to learn how to communicate better with him. She found a therapist and was emailing with them to set up an appointment when her husband suddenly decided they needed to get their house listed. I feel like he deliberately waited for her to find a therapist to do this. He doesn't know when his new job starts. He's scheduled to go back to police academy for 6 months starting in June, which means they really wouldn't be moving until probably around mid to late May. So why would they need to list their house right now? Like I said, it seems very calculated and deliberate to stop her from going to therapy, and it worked. I feel like I have
And
done.
I'm seeing like, I feel like, like one of these situations would be a coincidence, but it's just multiple that just makes me believe that he is isolating her and stopping her from getting the help that she needs to understand
Yeah,
that this situation is absolutely effed.
agreed. I feel like I have done everything I can for my sister at this time. She knows if she ever needs anything, I'll be there. But that's all I can do. And there is a second update.
Oh my goodness. This is not looking good though.
No.
This is not looking good at all.
Since my sister decided not to go to therapy, I have noticed some changes. For one thing, when I went to their house last weekend, I noticed that my brother-in-law now parks behind my sister's car, blocking her in.
Oh no.
He never used to park his truck there, so I thought it was weird that he suddenly started.
Red flag. Where's the button? Press the button, Keon.
My sister now acts as if the big incident never happened, just like her husband does. She did ask my mom and I to not bring it up anymore and to play nice. She really wants to make the marriage work and wants to, quote, give him another chance.
Oh, Jesus.
Obviously, the rest of the family feel a little disappointed and very scared for her. I have since had to tell our mom to not call me and rant about my sister anymore. The stress of that situation was taking me to a dark place mentally, and I will not go there again, especially for someone that is clearly not ready. My mom seemed a little disappointed in me for prioritizing my own mental health over my sister's.
But like again, you got to fill your cup before you can fill other people's
There's
cup.
only so much that you guys can do.
Yeah, and
if
you know,
she's not willing.
And if you, I think everyone's mental bandwidth to help others is different. And if you get into too dark of a place, you won't be able to help her. So it's like I think OP needs to also prioritize her own mental health.
But she'll just have to deal with that. I have my own husband and life to put my energy in, and I feel much happier not thinking about my sister's relationship all the time. My own therapist has reassured me that I have done everything that I can and that my sister just isn't ready to leave her husband yet. Update 3. Okay, so a few things have happened since I last updated. First of all, my sister and her husband did not end up moving, thank goodness. He had a psych evaluation for the new job, and a week later was told he was no longer a good fit.
Wow.
And for the police, for police officers, he's got to be pretty unfit to, So that's one crisis averted. The rest of the family have only had to see him once since the terrible trip on my nephew's first birthday. He barely spoke to anyone, which was fine with us because we didn't want to be around him anyway. We're planning another family trip in September, a kind of redo. When my sister told her husband about it, he said, "You realize I'm not going, right?" She told him that was fine, but that she was still going, and she was taking their son. Good on her. This is a good sign.
Yeah.
I want everyone who's like, very worried about this. This is a good sign that she is standing up for herself. He said he figured she would. By the way, I figure that you guys should listen to a full episode of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Boom.
There is a little bit left to the story. I do feel like we're going in
the right direction. Wait,
right
so
direction.
what just happened here? They took the kid?
Basically, they said that they're planning a family trip. And she's like, I'm going. He's like, I don't want to go. And she's like, okay, fine. But I'm going with the kid.
Yeah.
We're leaving.
I feel like it's a small step that he might be okay with, but maybe it'll give her like the freedom to realize, I can feel good without him. Maybe like I think, often when you're in an abusive relationship, you don't even know how good it can feel outside of it.
Exactly. Exactly. Like taking time apart
sanctuary
from him. They're not moving and he's not in this job that provides him with a weapon.
Yeah.
This is good.
Win.
But there's a little bit more to the story.
Cool.
I have a gut feeling that even though she says she's going, that she won't end up going. No.
Oh, no.
I think a few weeks before I'll start acting out, so she won't go, but we'll see. My mom still calls me to vent, but I think I upset her last week. My mom said she felt bad for my sister for always being in the middle and having to try to figure out how to make everyone happy. I told her I did not feel bad for my sister anymore because she chose that when she chose to stay with him. When she chose to stay with him, she had to know that the rest of us would never see him the same and that we don't like him. It's very hard on the mind. That even though she chose to forgive him, the rest of us can't simply forget how he treated her. My mom was clearly upset that I could be so heartless, but I just don't have the time and energy to constantly worry about my sister, especially when she chose this by staying with him. My sister knows if she needs me, I'm there for her. And I feel like that's the most important thing.
And that's all you can do. That's all you can do. You can
do.
be there for her. You can serve as a mirror for her. Use the Socratic method and ask questions, but you can't really say you gotta leave.
My dog growled at my niece. Now my brother wants him gone.
Get that dog out of here.
Bark, bark.
Bark, bark.
Hi, everyone. I have fostered a multitude of dogs in my life and dealt with a lot of behavioral problems: dog aggression, cat aggression, food aggression, angry food, a separation anxiety, super high prey drives. I've seen it all. and I've certainly encountered my fair share of dogs who weren't safe around small children, so I feel extremely confident in saying my current 5-year-old lab mix is safe for kids. He's basically a giant teddy bear who loves everyone. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Toddler Dog, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddits. So, it's always been my personal philosophy that dogs, and any other animal really, should never be left alone with young kids, even if it's the sweetest, most mild-mannered dog in the world. The kids don't understand when they're pushing the dog past its limits, and the dog cannot reasonably be expected to put up with being pestered long after it's signaled that it would like to be left alone.
Have an okay story time.
Uh-oh. Oh, you heard the growl. Stay away. My niece has never been good with my dog. She pulls his tail, climbs on/lays on him, hits him, pulls his ears, gets in his face and yells at him, and never gives him a second to himself unless she's forced to. So basically, any second that this toddler and the dog are in the same room, she is just hounding him.
Absolutely. Nice. That's all I had to say. I said nice. I was going to say something, but then you said hound. I'm like, yep.
So he's basically a saint with her, but every dog has its limits. I stay on top of his behavior as I can, forcing her to leave him alone when it starts to seem like too much, and locking him away in a bedroom if she won't. My brother and sister-in-law, 30 female, really just don't get it though. I've tried to talk to them about this behavior a bunch of times, and they know it's wrong, but they think it's wrong in the same way that her refusing to share or not picking up her toys is wrong. They don't understand that it's dangerous, and that if she was left alone long enough with my doggy might lose it and attack her. This has been going on for over a year. I've tried to have the conversation with my brother over and over, but he always acts like I'm criticizing his parenting, which is not the case. I don't think my niece is especially bratty or out of control for a kid that age. If it's just that this behavior is dangerous to both her and my dog, and it needs constant intervention. The same way that a small kid playing with a stove isn't especially bratty, it's just especially dangerous and needs to be curbed ASAP.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, I like that. I've even tried having a dog trainer friend explain this to him, but he still doesn't get it. Okay, I think we need to an elaborate ruse for this. We need to have someone make a documentary on Rumble or YouTube on why leaving a kid alone with a dog is dangerous, and they'll be like, "Oh, I got this new like movie tickets. Like, let's all go.
Bro,
I
got some dog stories, bro.
Oh, you got some dog stories. We got two okay story dogs.
Stories.
Okay, so guys, stick around to the end of this episode.
Yeah, but you should not like a dog that you do not know. You should not put your face close to.
Yes, yeah. Don't do that. Word to the wise.
I got bit in the eye by a freaking crazy dog.
This was like a few years ago, right?
This was like a year or two ago.
Yeah. Oh wow, that was more recent than I thought.
Yeah, dude. It sliced my eye open. Then I couldn't open my eye for a while.
A year or two ago? Was I around?
Yeah. It was someone we know.
Got in his
Crazy dog. That dog should not exist.
Was it the one that was running around peeing in our house?
No, not that one. Not that one. That's a nice dog. That dog can barely open its mouth. But
it can't open its urethra.
That dog is a pug, and man's face is so squished that it could even venture to try to eat my eyeball.
I was thinking of another one. Wow, there's multiple dogs that just run around peeing in our house.
But back to this sweet dog here in the story. I've tried to come up with excuses for why we can never meet at my house for family hangouts, but I couldn't think of one the other day, and my brother and niece came over. I was cooking dinner and not paying enough attention to make sure my dog was okay, which was absolutely my fault, and I do accept responsibility. I asked my brother a few times to keep her away from my dog, but he kept saying that she was fine. I did move my niece away from him a few times, but I wasn't vigilant enough, and my dog ended up getting to the end of his rope and growled at my niece.
A little growl after all that abuse.
What you got one, Sam? You got a good one?
Well, there
I love Chip's growl.
Yeah.
He goes,
He doesn't bark. He just growls at
yeah, he goes.
It's like a Mongolian throat singing and a bark combined into
that's
one.
great. It's so cute, man.
I love
Oh, what a dog. Christian, I could talk about Chip all day.
So I immediately grabbed my dog and brought him into my bedroom. I did not punish him at all, Frankly, I'm glad that he signaled loud and clear that he was uncomfortable. I would never want to discourage him from doing that because the next time he'd skip the growling and go straight to attacking.
Oh my God.
That would not be good.
Not good at all.
So I came out of the room ready to talk to my brother about how this is what I've been talking about, but he was furious.
How are you furious? That doesn't make any sense.
Hey, your dog.
Yeah.
I can never control my kid who is a human who is starting to understand language, but you should control your dog. You should speak dogese and talk to your
Dogese.
dog, okay?
Tease.
He yelled that my dog is a menace who should be put down and left
No.
for growling.
Not on my watch.
Dude.
Punk.
Yeah, you guys can get on out of here.
And Opie says, I completely understood his reaction. Opie agrees.
For growling? Bro, these guys are way too understanding.
Opie says that's his daughter and he was afraid for her. Nothing else mattered to him, but he hasn't calmed down at all since this happened and won't talk to me except to say my dog needs to be put down and he won't be speaking to me until it's done. So she's like, hey, do we want to do like maybe a little like summer barbecue, get some ribs? He's like, put your dog down. Put your dog down.
We can have your dog at the barbecue.
Yeah. That's the only ribs I'm interested in right now. He also tried to involve our parents who said they will absolutely not be getting involved. They know my niece's behavior with my dog has been a problem in the past. Just quick aside, if you're like in your like late 20s, 30s, 40s, and you're involving your parents in something like this, that's freaking whack.
Grow up.
Grow up.
Grow
You're an
the
adult
frick
now too.
up.
Come on.
Yeah.
I have not heard from my sister-in-law at all, which makes me think she might agree with me. Knowing her personality type, I don't think she'd sit out a fight like this if she thought that my dog was dangerous. The way I see it, this is solely my fault and my brother's fault. I shouldn't have had allowed my niece to pester my dog. I knew what could happen, and I was more concerned about how upset my brother got when I tried to bring it up than I was about my niece's safety. I should have just said my niece wasn't allowed my dog until she's got a bit older and dealt with whatever fallout there was within the family.
This is all over a growl?
Of course. Go to jail. Put the dog down.
Ridiculous.
It's, call the police.
Growling is a dog's way of letting you know to get just like back off, stop pulling my hair.
I feel like it was like, "Rrr," like just like that.
Yeah,
Like simple, not like, oh, I'm about to rip you limb from limb. Yeah, not like that.
Yeah, not like that.
Yeah, none of that. Similarly, my brother should have kept a better eye on his kid and not been so defensive when I tried to explain the problem. My dog, on the other hand, put up with being pestered for over a year, and when he was finally pushed to his limits, signaled very loudly and harmlessly that he needed to be removed from the situation. He's not dangerous, and I will not put him down.
Aw.
Thank God.
Amen.
My brother is now saying that the entire family has sided with a dog over his child, which is not the case. It's just that there are lots of solutions to this problem. I am perfectly happy to crate my dog when they come over, or leave him in another room, or just never have them over again and hang out somewhere else. There's no reason for my niece to ever see my dog again, and I'd be happy to talk over a solution with him. It's just that he won't talk to me at all, and I don't know what to do. Should I give him more time to cool off? Should I go over to his house and try to talk? I don't want to ruin this relationship. We are very close, but I'm just not putting my dog down over this. Thank God. There is an update.
I'm concerned that it feels like it's even a question.
Yeah.
Like even saying like I'm not putting my dog down over this like feels like yes, I'm glad that you're putting your foot down, but the foot should have been put down many steps before.
Yeah, I think OP's just way too considerate. I will say I do get, especially in the moment, which I think OP was trying to say, when a parent sees some sort of like imminent threat to their child, kind of freaking out. Yeah. And maybe overreacting, which I think the brother did, but it's like he still does not, and he won't even like talk about solutions. Like, and I think the brother is so stubborn and not willing to be it's an issue of communication because he didn't come up with a solution before and won't now.
I think maybe a little bit of distance from the brother.
Timeout.
A similar situation happened in my family with the truck. My uncle gave my brother a truck, and my brother was like, "Oh, I'm gonna put like things on the truck and do all these things." And my uncle was like, "No, it's my truck," even though my brother bought it from him. So he just ended up having to return the truck. And my uncle did the mature thing and was like, "I don't want this to ruin our our family or anything like that. So let's find a compromise." And they did. So honestly, I think a little bit more time and if he can't come to his senses, I mean, over a dog, is he really willing to do like tear the family apart over that?
He just might be. Let's find out here. So update. Hey everyone, thanks so much for the advice on my previous post. It blew up while I was asleep and I couldn't respond to everyone's comments, but I did really appreciate all the people who took the time to give me advice on how to handle my brother. This update is kind of a mixed bag. My family has been having dinner together one night a week since the pandemic started, usually at my parents' house. This week I thought my brother and his family would sit it out and it would be just me and my parents. But my sister-in-law showed up without my brother or niece. She said she absolutely did not want to discuss what happened, so we didn't, but I can't imagine how pissed she must be at my brother to openly go against him so she could attend a dinner with her in-laws, so that's good. Yeah, like, it seems like hey, I'm kind of showing up in solidarity and like, because it's with the in-laws. She's going into enemy territory, so it seems like they're not enemies. Since dinner went well and we all had a good time, I decided to send my brother a text this morning and try to make amends. The text I sent: "Hey bud, we missed you and niece at the dinner last night. I was hoping you'd come by so we could talk about what happened with niece and the dog. I understand why you're upset and I'm really sorry that niece was scared. You know how much I love niece and I'd never want anything bad to happen to her. I absolutely won't put down my dog though. He's not dangerous. It's just that he can't talk. So he growled, dog-a-knees."
A growl is so chill. I'm just,
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
so annoying.
To communicate that he wanted niece to leave him alone. He's a family member to me. I can't put him down. That would be crazy.
How many of your foster dogs growled? Do you ever have a growl?
Oh, for sure. I mean, most of them, some were scared. It was mostly like scratching up like couches and like things like that. But yeah, you had some, yeah,
some growls in
sure.
there.
Well, a lot of barks.
Yeah.
A lot of barks.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of growling and barking. Like it's totally, like OP said, it's their way of saying like,
Communicating.
it could be like, hey, I am threatening you, like more unprovoked or whatever, but like it's, in this case, I think it was cut and dry. He's like, yo, stop bopping me on the nose, toddler.
Yeah, a growl is a boundary being set.
Dude, doggy boundaries.
Doggy boundaries.
That is so true.
Let's say doggy style.
Oh God.
Sam's favorite.
Not my favorite.
Especially when he didn't do anything wrong. But there's lots of other solutions we could work on to keep niece safe. I'm totally fine if no one in our family ever wants to see dog again. Or if you want, we can talk with a dog trainer friend to try to figure out something that keeps everyone safe. You know, I think you're a great dad and doing an awesome job with niece, but I really think she would benefit from understanding how to treat animals. The next dog she meets might not be as relaxed as mine, and she could really get hurt. We can work on teaching her together. Do you want to come meet me for dinner next week? I can come to you and we can get takeout from our restaurant. I miss you." And here is a text that OP gets in return from the brother.
That's going to be whack.
Here we go.
It's going to be so whack.
Once again, what an opener. You and everyone else chose a dog over my human child.
The dog didn't do anything.
It doesn't matter what niece did. She is a human and deserves to be safe. You're really saying, well, she started it, about your dog almost attacking my child? You can't keep a dog that would attack a kid for being a kid. And I can't believe you're talking about the next time niece meets a dog. What about next time your dog meets a kid? The next parent won't be so understanding, OP. They'll call animal control and demand he be put down on the spot. Now we can't meet for dinner like nothing happened.
No. Now you can't meet for dinner like nothing happened.
Yes, exactly. It's like OP is extending the olive branch, like totally willing to, hey, we can do something here. And you're just like, nah.
Too worried about her human child.
Yeah, my human. My non-hairy.
I'm pissed.
Yeah, talk to me.
It's just ridiculous how much the brother is blowing this out of proportion.
Unacceptable way to treat your sibling, honestly. Yeah. My response, sorry you feel that way. Please let me know when you're ready to talk about it. I'll be here. By the way, we will always be here. On Spotify, Apple, and iHeart, you can listen to us basically unlimited to your heart's desire. We have so many podcast episodes. So go search OK Storytime on your favorite pod platform and listen to this podcast. But before we get into the end, any closing thoughts?
Brother needs a timeout.
Brother needs a timeout.
You please don't put down your dog.
Don't do that.
And I don't think the dog growling is is worth all this drama.
I couldn't agree more. So to close it out, Opie says, I know a lot of you think my brother is a wiener. And just hearing about this one incident, I would too. But I really think every single one of us would come off as a wiener if someone wrote a Reddit post asking for advice about the biggest a-hole thing we've ever done. Everyone has their good and bad qualities. Everyone is sometimes a chore to be around. And I love my brother. I don't want to fight with him, and I'm disappointed he's determined to drag this out. I know a lot of you wanted me to just ignore him until he stopped acting like a jackbutt or cut him out altogether, but that's just not realistic for me in our relationship, and it's not something that I want. I do think my sister-in-law is eventually just going to make him talk to me, so hopefully this won't drag on for too much longer, but I'm just really sad about the whole thing. I've done all I can do, though. My sister-in-law and I have plans to go hiking this weekend, so at least they're back together.
I guess. It's unsatisfying.
Yeah, I think like
I feel like I've been edged.
Yes, this was we've edged and not had our the goon of good relationships.
There's been no goon.
Exactly.
I feel unedged. I feel ungooned.
You feel edged.
I feel edged and not gooned.
But I got one thing that'll help you finish is that this episode is finished.
Oh, all right. Well, sad to finish on such an edge, but you know, that just will keep you on the edge of your seat.
There we go.
My sister took my credit card without asking, so I warned her with legal action.
Sure.
Dis-sisters asking for disaster. My sister Amanda and I have never been close siblings. We are polite to each other and get along well and know little bits and pieces of each other's lives, but we're not super close. We're both married and I have children. By the way, this comes from The Sister Has a Mister. And if you want to submit your own stories, just go to the OK Storytime subreddit. I frequently travel for my work, and I have a company card for expenses, which I use when I travel. I also have a personal debit card for personal expenses, but when I'm traveling, I don't use it very much. Last week, I was going over my debit card statement when I noticed several charges that were out of place. The total for the charges was well over 1,000, which alarmed me. I knew I didn't make them. I was traveling at the time, and my husband had no idea where they came from. The charges were airfare and accommodation, and at first I thought I made a mistake in charging my personal card instead of my company card, but when I cross-checked, I didn't make any mistakes.
And that's when you freaking cancel your credit card and you call your bank.
I called up my bank and disputed the charges. My husband told me to file a police report if I was worried about having my identity stolen or having my credit rating go down. In the midst of this, my sister called and I mentioned the card fraud and that I was contemplating filing a police report. She became very upset and told me that she would be over immediately. When she came, she told me that she was the one who used my card. First, she tried to pass it off as my forgetfulness. Oh, I told you I needed to use my card, and you said okay and gave it to me. But I asked her when I said that, she gave me a date when I was out of town. I told her it would have been impossible for her to have spoken to me then because I had been out of the country. She became silent and would not answer when I asked her why she did that. All right, real quick, what do you think? Why do you think she did that?
She wanted to steal your money.
I was beyond frustrated and annoyed, and I told her I wouldn't file a police report if she paid me. She became very agitated at this, and the truth came out. She's been cheating on her husband for some time now electronically, and it had finally turned physical. Since she doesn't work, she couldn't afford to buy tickets to see him. So when they'd come over for my son's birthday, she had taken my card details and used it to buy plane tickets and a hotel room. I asked her how she got around her husband, and she said he was out of town, so it was easy for her to leave without suspicion. Wow. To be honest, I felt as if I was talking to a complete stranger, and I was disgusted. Maybe I'm wrong for feeling this way, but that's how I am. I told her that if she told her husband about the affair and paid me back, I would not file a report. She wept and told me that if she confessed, her marriage would be over.
Oh no. Well, maybe you shouldn't have cheated.
Well, and if it isn't the consequences of your own actions.
Literally.
I told her that she made that choice when she chose to cheat, and that I would give her till Wednesday this week to decide. Since then, she has called me up daily to beg, plead, then hurl abuse at me. She has done it to my husband as well. She has told our parents too, and they sided with her at first, But then when the whole truth came out, they said they are staying out of the matter. My mom did say that maybe I should be kind to her and not make her tell her husband that she has learned her lesson.
No.
But in my view, she has not learned her lesson, and she's just throwing this tantrum to get her way, i.e., not repaying the fraud she committed, not confessing to doing wrong to your significant other. I've been told that I can be too harsh at times, and I wonder if I'm doing it this time. There's an update.
Nope. You're not being too harsh. It's not even like you're like, I'm immediately going to go tell her husband. You're giving her the opportunity to come clean to her husband. So that's already a lot of consideration.
She can do it on her own terms at this point. Like, she's getting off incredibly easy.
Exactly. You said, pay me back for the money you stole and tell your husband. That's it. You could have gone straight to the police report.
Like, had she filed the police report before calling the sister and talking to her, the sister would be over and out. Like, there's no going back from that, because once the police report's filed, I don't think you're allowed to take it back. So this is OP letting sister off so easy. Thank you so much for all your advice and comments. I also had a few very supportive private messages, and believe me when I say that you all helped me stay sane. Today was supposed to be the deadline that I gave her to make a choice, but things have gotten so much messier. Amanda discovered yesterday she is pregnant.
From the affair partner?
What would be worse, the affair partner or the husband? What do you think?
Well, maybe it would be worse for the husband if it was his kid because, you know, he can't make a clean break.
Because, yeah, that's still his kid. And if he splits, that's still his kid. If he splits and it's the affair partner, he doesn't have to worry about the kid anymore.
So maybe that's less complicated.
She was overjoyed and called our parents to let them know, who in turn called to inform me of the good news, which in turn led to them trying to persuade me to forgive her and let it go. Why? I mean, I get they want to protect their daughter, but also you're hurting your other daughter in this. Like, she's not going to learn her lesson.
You're being bad parents.
I told them I would think about it and hung up. To be honest, I was troubled because I didn't want my actions to affect a child, so I wanted to sleep on it.
They aren't your actions. They're your sister's actions. She's just getting consequences. You're literally not doing anything.
Yeah, she did this against you, remember? She did this against her husband. She stole your money, and just the only reason she's upset at all about it is because she got caught. Otherwise, she'd wait till you're out of town again.
Probably would have kept doing it, yeah.
She would have waited till you're out of town again, waited till the husband's out of town again, done the same thing because she had your information. She had that credit card number. So what's to stop her? At this point, nothing except that felony slap. This morning, I got a call from her husband, Jack. I didn't mention it in my previous post, but Jack is very close to my husband and I would actually consider him more of a sibling than I do Amanda.
Then you need to tell him if she doesn't.
He asked if he could meet me sometime in the morning. I said okay, and we met up at a coffee shop. I congratulated him on the good news, and he looked very troubled. As it turns out, he doesn't know how she got pregnant.
Yeah, because she got pregnant from the affair partner.
Oh, this is messy. He confessed that they've been having relationship issues for some time now and haven't had spicy sleep for almost half a year.
I feel like she's relying on everybody in her life to be idiots. Like she was relying on OP to not look at her credit card and notice that there were giant charges. And now she's relying on her husband to not realize that they weren't sleeping together for a year.
I don't think Amanda's very good at math. And I think she thinks she's a lot more slick than she really is. She's watched one too many spy movies. He had kept asking her to go for counseling, but she had consistently been refusing. He told me, I know she's your sister, and I hate to say this, but I think she's been cheating on me. That child can't be mine. I was furious at this because this meant that she had lied to me about the trip she took being the first time. I was just sick of her deception and lies, and I realized that she really didn't care who she hurt. I reacted impulsively, but I ended up telling Jack everything about the card and her confession to cheating. I told him she'd been contacting me, trying to get me to back off, and showed him all the texts. Jack was completely silent when I was talking, but the heartbreak on his face made me so much angrier at my sister. Finally, he asked about whether she had repaid me, and I told him about the deadline and the new developments. He told me he would repay me, despite me telling him I did not want him repaying me for her cheating. He wouldn't take no for an answer and wrote out a check. I haven't cashed it. I might not, depending on how things go. He asked me to file a police report without taking any action. I said I would look into it, but his point was if there was a report on her, he stood a better chance of gaining custody of the children. I called my husband up and told him everything that had transpired. Bless the man, he remained calm while I was freaking out. He first called into work and took the day off and made me do the same. He took me to the police station where I filed a report, but I told the officers that I do not want to take any action. Next, I called up my bank and told them that I know where the transactions came from, which they appreciated, so I think I won't have any issues from that direction. They did say they would monitor my card activity more closely for the next 3 months. Finally, we went over to my parents' house, where I told them everything. I mean everything. I also told them that I was incredibly disappointed at how they reacted, that they were so quick to defend her when they thought she was the victim, but chose to remain mute when I was the victim. There's a little bit of favoritism here. I started crying a bit at this point, and my husband took over and essentially told them that as long as they were willing to back up Amanda's unforgivable behavior, we would no longer tolerate them and that they were no longer welcome to our house. He also told them that they were still welcome to see their grandkids, but only when we were around. They were greatly taken aback at this, and they really protested quite angrily. But my husband can be stubborn, and he refused to budge. Gotta love the spite response. Turns out, my family thought I was a pushover, so this reaction of mine came as a huge surprise to them.
Of course they did. They were like, oh, don't file charges, OP. Don't tell her husband, OP. And they just all expected OP to do it. And then OP was like, you know what? No!
Common theme that I've noticed in like siblings, whenever they fight, the parents always are trying to save the other by forcing the one sibling that's been hurt to just sit in the hurt.
Yeah, to just get over it.
There's no accountability ever.
It's like, come on, you have to apologize and actually make amends.
They have to realize that they have more than one kid in this scenario.
2 kids are being affected.
You know what else can be an effective way to like spend time with your siblings? Listening to full episodes just like this one, going on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other of your favorite platforms and just searching OK Storytime. There's an update coming up, but any final thoughts, Sophia?
My final thoughts is that honestly, you might need to go probably no contact, honestly, with your sister because she, again, scammed you, cheated on her husband, lied about it, continued to lie to you. I think that you probably will be able to still be in contact with, you know, your brother-in-law and the kids. So that's something.
I mean, they're the niece and nephew, so there is still a connection there. They're incredibly close, they said. But there's also the aspect of, like, the shame of it all. And, like, does he feel like he can show his face around?
I think OP and her husband will show that they're there for him.
I mean, at least she told him. So there's still we're able to, I may think, maybe at some point salvage his trust in them. Like, if she hadn't told it all, I don't think he could have trusted her again. Amanda has been blowing up my cell phone and landline all day. I read a couple of her texts, and most of them were rants and swearing at me and how I'm going to pay for ruining her life.
You ruined your own life, dude.
If it isn't the consequences of your own actions. I'm sitting here completely exhausted and numb. I know I've broken all ties with my sister, and it feels like my family has chosen to side with her. Why?
She's the favorite child. She's the golden child, clearly.
I feel abandoned right now and guilty that I may have made a huge mistake towards that unborn child she's carrying. Hopefully, things will all work out in the near future.
Don't let anyone guilt you into thinking that you made a mistake. You told the truth to her husband, who almost was like freaking tricked into raising his child that wasn't his.
Like, you're not the one who booked that hotel. You're not the one who stole that money. You're not the one who had the affair. You're not the one who tried to bury it all, who tried to deceive this man. Like, this isn't on you. And I understand that you're replaying all of these scenarios in your mind, OP. But at what point did you do anything against your sister that she did not initiate? Like, she wronged you, and you're not wrong for wanting her to face the music of her own actions. Like, she did this, she's got to see it through.
But
unfortunately, that's the end of that one.
That is the end of that story. Hopefully, OP figures out that they didn't do anything wrong and they distance themselves from this very bad family.
I refused to give money for my sister's wedding. It made the family furious.
Become a billionaire.
Growing up, my sister and us were extremely close. But over the years, as we got older, we noticed how badly she would treat our mom, who is a single mom. and how she would often side with mom's family in discussions usually revolving around mom's decision to raise us alone. Note, my brother and my dad passed away when my mom was 7.5 months pregnant. Sad. By the way, this comes from 5 Hattie. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So it all hit a breaking point when we turned 18. My sister and our birthdays are in the same week, so there was always talk about a joint 18 and 21st party for us. We never had any issue with this. At first, we were all for the idea, but when the party started getting planned, our mom was left out of all of it, and our aunt, let's call her Jane, stepped in and took over it all. We had no idea at the time, right? So I guess mom was being left out in what could be a lovely moment of a mother celebrating an 18th and 21st birthday for her daughters.
Yes.
We were barely 17 at this stage that they had already started planning it, only found out when our sister, let's call her Grace, called us, which was rare to get a message from her, asking us if they could be reimbursed for the money they had spent on the party. We had a trust account set up from when our dad's life insurance was paid out to us, and we agreed to it. All right. But I'm hoping it's not some, they're not getting any ice sculptures up in here.
Oh.
Where it's like super expensive. Are they trying to go all out?
That's
and they're
the
just going to drain the life insurance.
Right.
So I asked mom if she knew about the party, and she said no. A month before the party, we got down to the main point, the guest list. The room, which my brother and I paid for, could hold 120 people. Damn! We were expecting to have roughly even split of the guest list, 35 each for us, 50 for her. But when we saw the list, it was 90% her friends and family that we don't speak to, only giving us 15 spaces, roughly 2 tables to use.
So the actual people celebrating the birthday only have like 10% of the guest list.
Ridiculous. We were pissed, but she screamed at us, calling us insensitive and ungrateful for everything she has done for us growing up. This is the aunt.
Dude.
Note, she'd done nothing for us. We just loved her. So we relented and took what we could, knew it would be a losing battle. But you're also paying for this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Be like, get out of here, auntie. Slam the door.
Yeah, slam the door. A week before the party at our grandma's house, our family, nan, step, granddad, aunt, uncle, sister,
brother,
that's listing the family members, right?
and her boyfriend got a bit wasted and started on about how bad our mom was and how she'd done so many things wrong.
Uh-oh.
But what pissed us off the most was when our nan said, I bet you at your party, she will be holding her head up high, claiming glory for the parenting we've done, not her. That one comment was enough to make my brother and I leave quite angry. Again, this is the nan saying like, oh, we did all the parenting. Your mom did nothing.
Dude, and Nan is like grandma?
Grandma.
Dude, that is insane, especially considering how her husband tragically passed away while she was still pregnant. Like,
yeah,
insane
a
thing
little
to say.
wackadoodle do.
Insane.
The night of the party wasn't too bad. The family kept their mouth shut, and we actually had a decent time until the slideshow started.
Oh, here we go.
Of about 300 photos.
Huh?
300, John.
It's too many.
Which was 15 minutes long. There were 10 photos of my brother and I. 10.
Wow.
I'm just imagining like 290 selfies of the aunt. Yeah, this is ridiculous.
At least she put you in there.
Yeah, right. Oh, you should be great. You should be grateful.
Yeah. Like, and then at the end, and these are the other 2 people. The rest were of our sister, our youngest cousin, auntie's kid, and her boyfriend's family. Many at this party had no idea it was our birthdays as well until the cake was cut. They came up to us afterwards and said happy birthday. My brother and I eventually snuck away with our mom and went to the pub to have our own birthday toast with just us and our mates. I'm waiting for the bill to drop.
Dude, honestly, sue your aunt.
Ridiculous.
For the birthday money.
Not long after, my brother and I went to uni and our contact with the family was limited to a few messages a month. We tried to keep in contact, but they wanted nothing to do with us. When the time came for our 21st birthday, our sister and family were back in contact with us, partially because our trust account was being released when we were 21, under the guise of planning a big party for us. They're just trying to get a little piece.
Dude.
We told them we didn't want one, just wanted a quiet night with mom and our close mates, but they wouldn't hear it. We ended up missing the big party they planned for us. It was on a weeknight, and we were still at uni in another state. So we copped a lot of heat from the family about that. But after a week, it went from "you're ungrateful, see you next Tuesdays" to "hey, when are you both coming back down? Should go out for dinner." So we made the plans and came back. Dinner went as we expected it to, as it always does. A good hour of them bashing mom and her parenting and taking credit for the fact that we were in uni. My brother is studying law and I'm in medicine and sports. Let's freaking go.
I'm just, this family is giving a migraine, and I'm like, why do we keep coming back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least maybe setting a boundary of like, listen, we would love to have, a fun extended family time. That's always great.
Yeah.
But you cannot
Stop bashing mom.
stop bashing mom.
But
And stealing.
I remember earlier they mentioned a trust.
Yes, I believe from the dad's life insurance policy.
Okay, because maybe they're bashing mom to see that she's an unfit parent and maybe get their hands on the trust in
But
some way.
they're over 21, so I think it falls straight to them. I think they're just
Okay.
trying to grease. This is what I think is happening. They are saying, hey, your mom did nothing. We really
Right.
did everything for you.
I see.
Thus, this trust that you have, I trust that you would give us all that money because of all the things we did for you.
Yeah, it really belongs to us. We
Really
did
belongs to
everything for you,
us.
as in stealing your birthday money.
I don't think you should have contact with these people. It's so transparent what they're trying to do here.
Yeah.
And how it was because of their influence we've come this far, which is complete BS. But the night really hit a good note when Grace said, hey, so the trust account comes out soon, right? We knew this was coming.
Yep.
Just wanted to know if I could have some because Shane and I are looking at moving out from his parents' house and need about $30,000 for a deposit.
Stop it. I actually need to sue you for $300,000 because you stole my 18th birthday, and the emotional distress.
The emotional damage.
That is emotional damage, ladies and gentlemen.
That is.
Pay
we both
up.
just said we'll get back to you and left. For the next week, we got a phone call and another phone call and another phone call asking us if she could have the money. Ultimately, please don't tell me you gave the money.
No, please no.
After chatting to our mom, who told us we didn't have to give her anything, she had her own account and went through it quickly. We called Grace and told her that we are not going to just give her the $30,000, but we would lend her it.
No. This is not what we want. It's gone.
Don't. It's
Poof.
gone. It's
Poof.
gone. It's gone. They're going to put it all on black,
The
dude.
magic act.
Oh my God. Yeah. They will make that thing disappear. Make her sign something and receive payments and to cover us legally if she could not pay us.
Okay, well that's a step most
That's
people
better,
No,
don't take.
but
I still hate this.
Yeah, I don't like this at all.
Yeah, but they take a step that most people don't even think about.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, they're signing some paperwork. But I'm of the opinion: don't lend money to friends or family that you're not prepared to lose.
Yeah, here's how I look at it. It's like, they didn't break their whole leg. They just broke their foot. Let's just not break any bones.
Yeah, exactly. Let's stay away from breaking any toes.
protect.
Like protect yourself a bit. She was furious, called us ungrateful. See you next Tuesdays, and hung up.
Hopefully, I didn't accept.
We didn't speak to her for 3 years. Last year, we got a phone call from her telling us she was getting married to her deadbeat boyfriend. He's unemployed, 30, and hasn't had a job that lasted more than 1 month because he hates doing things.
What a winner.
And she wanted $50,000 for us to pay for the wedding and the honeymoon. Where do you get off? I don't like. How are you on? Like what? I don't.
Could you guys imagine asking someone for $30,000 or $50,000?
$50,000 is crazy.
Unless the trust has like $1 billion in it.
Even $1 billion.
Yeah, like
Really? If someone has $1 billion, you'd be like,
I would be comfortable being like, hey, invest in this thing I'm doing, because like, I believe in this, and like, okay, it's not that much money for you. That I think I would feel good, but like,
Invest in our wedding, this beautiful union, this partnership, this legal partnership, a legal document that we're creating is gonna be beautiful.
what are the
Trust.
projected margins?
Yeah, exactly. 30%.
dude, just live stream the wedding, chat.
Boom.
We got
Yeah,
it.
you know what to do.
We're locked in.
Blow it up. We were taken back by it. We said that we would meet her to go over things and a possible payment plan. not just going to give her $50,000 when she hasn't spoken to us in years. Go to a bank. Just give them the number of a bank. She yelled us over the phone and hung up on us. A few weeks later, we had a visitor at our mom's place. We were home for a few weeks. Uni was on break. It was the lady in charge of the flowers for the wedding.
Oh, no.
She said our sister had given her this address to discuss payment with us. We had no idea about this and told the lady that we had no idea what she meant. We never agreed to this and that we were very sorry she wasted her time. She apologized to us and left. An hour later, we got a phone call from Grace calling us, yet again, ungrateful, see you next Tuesdays.
Such a large vocabulary.
And how we are ruining her wedding by being so selfish. So we hung up on her. In the last couple of months, we've had several businesses call us wanting to discuss payment for things and services they have given to Grace. One was a wedding planner who wanted $6,000. We told them they should take it up with Grace, not us. Recently, our family from overseas, our dad's family, have been in contact with us telling us how disappointed they are and how we are upsetting our sister.
Dude,
get some information before you start casting stones.
Yeah, how can we possibly say it's either you're insane or you don't have enough information.
Yeah.
Those are the only two things.
Ridiculous. We haven't said anything to them about Grace and the wedding and her wanting us to pay for it all. So we were taken aback by this, told them what had been going on, and they apologized to us promptly.
Okay.
The next day, we get a call from Grace.
Here we go.
I wonder what vocabulary words we might get from Grace now, who was fuming more so than usual about how we poisoned the family against her. By this stage, I was fed up with her being so selfish, so I yelled back, they aren't even your family. They are ours. He was our dad, not yours. We have different dads. Hers, the old one-two'd their mom through a cupboard when she was pregnant with Grace.
Oh my
Yikes. God. After I said that, I knew I went too far. She started screaming, crying, and hung up. Mark, my twin, just hugged me and said, F her. By the way, you should always give us a hug.
Yes.
By listening to full episodes, the stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update, John. But let's discuss, what do you think about this whole situation? Do you think OP is handling it well?
I mean, so first off, this family is just so clearly insane.
Yeah.
And just like a clear-cut case of like, just don't interact, don't respond, don't even engage. I think, look, OP's trying to be kind. Like they're like, we'll do the loan and everything, but it's too kind.
It's too kind.
We are lighting ourselves on fire to keep others warm with these people. So
bars.
I did not think of that. I cannot claim credit for that. My sister says that. Okay, here we go.
That is a John Fry original quote.
No, it's not. It's not
Never
original at all. Completely
said.
unoriginal. Shout out to my sister. She was the one who told me that one.
Aw.
I think OP is so within their right to be like, hey, I'm not engaging with you. I call you, you call me, see you next Tuesday, and then hang up and ask for more money in a year. Like that's literally our whole ritual.
Yeah.
I'm blocking you. I'm done with this. And that's that.
Yeah, dude. I don't think you need to keep showing up for this relationship. I totally agree.
And if you want to ask for money, this is how you do it. Guys, would you like to invest in what a lot of rich people invest in a timeshare of an underground bunker where you can pick 2 weeks out of the whole year and be in this underground bunker in case something bad happens?
But you're shit out of luck if you don't get the right 2 weeks for the
That's
apocalypse.
the thing. It's a gamble because you have to pick the right 2 weeks.
What Rumble documentary sponsor did this come from? Hey guys, I'd like to talk to you real quick about bunkers are us, okay? Airbnb bunker. You can go online, book any 2 weeks you want, and if the apocalypse happens to fall in that time, bam, bam, boom, you're ready.
Man,
you will survive.
Man, I'm ready to invest.
Choose your time wisely.
I just need $2 million.
Oh, God. All right. Call back in a year. It's been 3 weeks since that phone call. We've had the majority of Mom's family get in touch with us, mainly to yell at us, calling us every name under the sun. Grace's fiance has told us if he sees us, he will get us. He has ties with a bike gang here and was a substance dealer for a bit. So we are a little bit shaken by that. We've spoken to the police, but since it was all over the phone with no physical proof, there's nothing that can be done. What should we do in this situation that hasn't been done already? Should we just back down and give it some peace? Or should we stick to our pew-pews and risk possibly get hurt in the process? And there is a slight update. But what do you think, John?
just go no contact, please. I don't care. I don't care if you stick to your guns, your message. I don't care. Just block them for the love of God.
Yeah.
Like at this point, it's getting frustrating. It's like you are only hurting yourself here. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, agreed. And here's the update. So thank you to everyone who commented on the post. We were not expecting so many comments. Based off the suggestions, we're changing our numbers and keeping the old ones in case they call us and leave a voicemail, which we can use if things go south. And we're going to look into our security in the bank and a fixed terms deposit to protect the bulk of our money. And that is finally the action that we needed.
Thank God.
Finally, they're making some good moves.
Get a bunker for your money.
Yeah, that's where that story ends.
And I think that's where this episode ends.
No, we got one more?
I think this is not where this episode ends.
My brother is freeloading off our parents. I'm sick of him treating them like garbage.
Take out the trash.
So, in the past month, my older brother's fiance left him. This meant he lost his house because the home they lived in was in her name. He lost his vehicle because what he was driving was her old car. He also lost his job because he was so focused on his breakup that he was constantly making mistakes. He moved in with our parents, who lived about 5 minutes away from my husband and me. By the way, this comes from Greenlight, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I do have a lot of sympathy for him. He literally has nothing. No home, no car, no job, no relationship. The problem is, this is the third time that this has happened to him. That's right. He has had 3 fiancés leave him now, and every time he winds up losing everything. He has had 2 cars impounded because he gets so upset over his breakups, he loses his job and can't make payments on his vehicles. My parents and I have bailed him out of these situations every time. I even paid his back payments on his car, paid for his dog's vet bills, and paid for some of his rent before. My parents and I have literally spent thousands of dollars trying to help him. Each of the past 2 times, he winds up moving back in with my parents, who are in their late 60s. While we pay for everything for him whenever he goes through a breakup, he becomes a total knucklehead. He spends every weekend out with his friends camping or vacationing. How he pays for it, I have no idea. After the second fiancé, he took a trip to Fiji with his friends, but couldn't afford to pay his rent. He mostly ignores me unless he needs money, which during all this breakup, I am refusing to help him out at all. The worst part is he treats my parents like garbage. If they ask him a question like, "Have you been looking for a job?" he will yell at them. He has no problem eating the food they provide for him and living in their house rent and utility free, and driving my mom's brand new car, which she got because he totaled her last car, but makes them absolutely miserable. My mom told me he will yell at them, call her stupid, trashes their house, sleeps all day, and leaves the care of his dog up to them.
Kick him out.
Yeah, by the way, brother is 36.
36,
Yeah.
and he's behaving this way.
Wow.
Kick this man out.
I
I'm
feel like-
sorry. You're just like, you're far too old to act like this.
Mm-hmm.
I can
and
see maybe why you have been unfiancéed 3 times.
yes, understandably. And also your parents are like totally allowing this behavior by
Yeah.
not kicking him out and just saying, well, he always yells at us, but we're going to let him stay here.
Every time I see my mom lately, it's obvious that she's been crying. Oh. The most recent event took place on Sunday. In an attempt to get him out of the house for a while, I offered to take him out on our boat. He seemed super excited about it, and when he's excited, he can actually be a lot of fun to be around. He tells me he's hanging out with friends, but will be back in town Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon rolls around, and he's nowhere to be seen. I get a text around 6 p.m. that he's decided to go to a local tourist destination with all his friends. They are going to tube down a river. I'm bummed because I was honestly looking forward to it, and because my brother has once again chosen his friends over his family. But it's whatever. I honestly don't rely on him for anything, so it's not that big of a deal. But then I find out he's driving my mom's car and she has to be in her office early Monday morning. Then the peaceful protests in our town turn into full-on riots and my brother still is not home. At this point, he can't get home because they've blocked off access to our town. So he just stays with his friends and I wind up taking my mom to work. My dad tries to talk to my brother on Monday about how irresponsible he was, and my brother just yells at them and then locks himself in my parents' basement for the rest of the day. My parents are miserable. They want to help and have always said they will do anything for us kids, but they are just enabling my brother every time they bail him out. My dad has major health problems that are being exacerbated by the stress my brother is causing. My mom has a history of severe depression that I see her slipping back into the longer my brother is with them. I'm really close to my parents, and they are usually very fun people. The longer my brother stays with them, I am seeing them become depressed, short-tempered, and miserable. I tried telling them to punt him out. One of his friends would surely take him in, but they insist that they don't want to leave him homeless. I can't convince them to punt him out, but is there anything else I can say or do that might get my brother to get his head out of his butt and get a job? How can I get my brother to see his behavior towards my parents is unacceptable? It just really sucks. I used to really look up to my older brother because he is outgoing and funny and the sort of person everyone just gravitates towards. Now I'm just pissed at him for how he treats my parents and simultaneously scared for his mental health because he clearly has a lot of problems. We have some comments. Comment 1. It's not a mistake that these women keep leaving him. I'm guessing mooches off of them too until they break up. He will not change until he faces consequences for his actions and you and your parents stop enabling him. He's almost 40 and behaving like a teenager. That's appalling, but you can't fix him. And we have a reply, yep, this. What's happening is likely due to super physically cute and a lot of fun to be around. Charms the panties right off these women, and they don't wake up from the spell for a few years. I doubt this guy will ever change. It's worked for him his whole adult life. Just gotta find himself yet another gal that doesn't mind being a sucker. OP says, you've sort of hit the nail on the head. All his girlfriends / fiancés have also been substantially younger. The most recent was 11 years younger. He charms them and things are great for a couple years. He's also really good at making money, like could have been an old-timey con man in another life. So he'll find a new scheme and give the girls super fancy gifts, but inevitably things fall apart when the girls really start doing life with him. I hope that he changes. I would really like for him to change, but you're right, it'll probably never happen. I just want to keep my parents and I from being sucked into his up and down cycles. We do have an update.
Oy, I think what you do.
Yeah.
Stick with me here.
Yeah.
You send him a letter.
Okay.
And you say, hey, it's your parents here.
Yeah.
We want you gone. Don't ask us about it because we're very sensitive.
Yes.
But we want you out of here by tonight.
The parents mail it from their house to their house.
OP mails it.
I know.
Yes.
But it would look
yes.
as though.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
No,
Sorry,
I'm on board.
parents.
I'm on board.
Mhm. They slip it under the door.
Yes.
And they say, don't ask us about it because we're too hurt.
Naturally. And he listens.
And he listens as he goes, what? I guess I can't ask them about it. Gotta go. And he leaves.
And like all problems solved.
All problems solved like that. That's
Done.
There you go. Solutions.
10 out of 10.
solution-oriented.
I think that's exactly what this update's gonna be.
Yep. That's what I'm thinking.
Thank you for the responses. A couple of things. I am in no position to psychoanalyze my brother or parents, but I do believe that mental health is a primary reason for how any human acts the way they do, and clearly my brother's mental health is not good. I am encouraging my family to see therapists, but I decided I will not be paying for my brother's because there is truly no telling if he would go or be willing to change. Also, my mom works for a not-for-profit for the elderly and specializes in elderly abuse cases. She told me that she knows what he is doing is technically elder abuse, but she does not want to report it or want me to report it.
She's like, I'm super familiar with it.
I know exactly how this goes.
Yeah. Ooh.
If things get any worse, though, I will go behind her back.
Send a letter.
10 out of 10.
Send a letter.
And they can't ask about it.
I said
It's
in
the
the letter.
rules.
You can't ask.
I went to my parents' house last night for an unrelated reason and had a brief talk with my brother that devolved into a shouting match. I started by showing him 4 different jobs I found online that he could apply for, but none of them were good enough for him, and he was insulted that I thought he would work these jobs, and that's when the shouting match started. I'm an educator. I know I shouldn't have let myself get into a power struggle with him, but siblings just know how to push your buttons, you know? And you can push a button into listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. We have another update, but what's your thoughts?
Lettered, man. No, no, I think that your parents are adults. It really sucks that your brother's taking advantage of them. I think that you can tell them what you're seeing. You can tell them, hey, he needs to get a freaking life.
Yeah.
And stop mooching off you guys.
Hopefully
but if
that
they
was
want to let that keep happening, that they're adults. They're
Full
seemingly in, their right mind.
She's so aware that she knows it's
super
elder
aware.
abuse.
It's like at a certain point, you can tell someone that they're in a bad situation, but you can't force them to leave it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you have to involve yourself to an extreme where you're, to the point where you're hurting your own mental health.
Yeah, I would say give your parents that threat of I will report this anonymously.
Yeah.
You guys should change something. I continue to not financially support him. That part's good. Don't do that. But yeah. Anyway, I was able to talk to my mom one-on-one, and she is totally unwilling to do anything about him. She will not even give him a deadline of when he has to have a job, nor will she stop lending him her car. She also reiterated how miserable she is in her own home with him being around. But she insists she feels so bad for him and she doesn't want to force him to do anything. So I told her that I am done with him and I will not be spending any time at their house as long as they continue to let him drain them of their health, finances, and mental well-being. I told her she and dad are welcome at my house anytime, but my brother is not. I have to tell you, I have never felt like a crappier person. It is not in my nature to just give up on people.
You have not given up on anyone.
No, not
they
at all.
They have given up on themselves and fixing this situation, and that's not your fault.
They are completely aware of the problem and are telling you flat out,
they
I don't
want
want
to
do
do
anything.
Exactly. You cannot do anything if they don't want to help themselves.
I refused to adjust my dinner plans for my nephew. My brother got mad.
Stay mad.
Part 1. Am I the a-hole for uninviting my brother and nephew from my celebration dinner? Backstory. My sister and I, early 30s, have an older brother. He's in his second marriage. His first marriage gave me my nephew, Connor, 15. Connor is autistic. When he was born, at the time, my sister-in-law's family was the village. My parents were also the village. My sister and I were not. This resulted in many arguments until I told my parents they could either have my brother and his family, or I would go no contact, or they could respect my boundaries and I'd still be around. They agreed. By the way, this comes from New Way 88, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So eventually my brother got a divorce because of the marital problems, one of which was his ex-wife insisting that I and my sister step up and help for the nephew, the autistic nephew.
Okay.
I felt bad for him, still do, but I wasn't going to change my stance. My sister didn't either. I have lived out of state for a bit and recently accepted a new job offer close to home. It came with a nice bonus. So I decided to invite my parents, sister, and brother out for dinner at my favorite KBBB spot, Korean barbecue spot. If you haven't tried it, you have to. My parents confirmed that it wasn't my brother's week with my nephew, so all was well and good. About a week before I got back home, my brother called me and said that his ex had something come up and that he had Connor for the week coming up, and his current wife was going to be out of town with her sisters. I said no worries and asked if he wants to call his regular babysitter for Connor and I'd cover it out for dinner. He said no, he wanted to bring Connor to the dinner and asked if we could change the venue because Connor gets overstimulated. I said no, this was my dinner. I'm paying for it. I'm going to my favorite place. He said, your nephew really can't handle a place like that. I said, yes, I know. That's why I'm offering to pay for a babysitter for that night. He argued that he'll just bring Connor with him. I said he's welcome to do that, but then I'm not going, so it'll just be him and our parents. So he told me that was messed up, that if Connor gets overstimulated, he'll just take him and go outside until he calms down. I reminded him of the last time we went to a Korean barbecue place. Connor had a meltdown and they had to leave. My parents always feel bad for Connor, so They usually leave and go to my brother's house to help. I said I didn't want that happening. I wanted to have a nice dinner without having to worry about that. He told me to go F myself and hang up. We went to dinner. My sister, my parents, and my brother, did not show up. It was a nice dinner. My parents enjoyed it too, but they said they wished my brother could have come. I agreed. Then they said they wished my nephew had come too. I did not agree. I said it would have likely resulted in my brother leaving after maybe 30 to 40 minutes of being there, and they would have followed him too. They agreed, but said I should have let him come anyway and just deal with it. I said that sounds like a good reason for me not to do that, and we didn't talk much that night after that. So am I the a-hole? We have an edit here. Somebody just said I posted it here. I babysat Connor before. Even now, I will watch him for a few hours if my brother has to go do something. I don't watch him all day or overnight, though. It's not his fault, and he is still no way a bad kid. However, I've had to set boundaries with my parents and brother, mostly his ex-wife, would take a mile if you gave them an inch. They wanted my sister and I to stay local after high school so we could help with babysitting, and I was not about to do that. I did see both of them before I left since I wanted to. I did not apologize for wanting to eat my favorite spot and have done it my way for just one night. Whenever my brother, wants to have dinner, we basically go to the same local spot because it's quiet and doesn't upset my nephew, and it's his fixation when it comes to food. That's perfectly fine. I go to those dinners. But for my dinner, I wanted somewhere that I enjoyed, and we have an update of part 1. First, I want to say thank you to everyone for positive and negative feedback, whether it was good or bad. I read every single one of them, even the ones that called me the a-hole. Totally valid. While I did see my brother and Connor before I left, it was more of just playing with Connor and making small talk with him and my brother. I decided today to call my brother to try and get more information to smooth things out. We talked for about 5 minutes before I broached the subject. I told him I was sorry if it felt like I was being unnecessarily mean or exclusive to Connor, but I felt like I had the right to decide where to celebrate the way I wanted to. He said he was sorry too, that he snapped back the way he did. And looking back, he realized Connor would have had an awful time and it would have been a big waste of money for me. The place we went to was about $80 a person, $40 for Connor, whether he ate or not. He just really wanted him to be there too. I told him going forward for things like my birthday, I would be more than happy to have lunch as a family with Connor at somewhere he likes so we can have a good time. And then go to dinner at somewhere I'd like to eat, and I'd pay for the babysitter or his mom. My brother's ex can watch him. He asked Connor if he would be welcomed at the dinner too. And I said I don't think so because I still plan to have Korean barbecue, hot pot, sushi, fine dining. And Connor doesn't do so well in those environments. Lights, sounds, smells, atmosphere. Which is why I brought up having lunch the day before so we can all celebrate it and be okay.
See, this is better. This is good. This is all right.
We have a plan.
Good plan.
But I was still standing firm that for my birthday or something like a promotion, I wanted to go somewhere that I enjoyed and not having to worry about what Connor wanted to do. I brought up also that when he took us out to lunch was once a month before I moved. He picked or my parents picked and they always catered to Connor. I had no problems with that and attended almost all of them. This time, I wanted something for myself. He wasn't over the moon about it, but it sounded like a good thing and thinks Connor would enjoy it too. He also looked into getting him some sunglasses, as one of you suggested, for bright/overly stimulating environments. He then had a question for me, which I knew was going to be asked at some point. Now that I'm closer to home, he asked if I was going to be more involved as an uncle.
They're all right.
You gonna babysit Connor? I said yes, but not in the way he probably wants. I said I'd be more than happy to go over to his house and hang out with him, his wife, and Connor, and bring food he likes, as well as babysitting once or twice a month, so he and his wife could go see a movie or have a dinner night together. But I wasn't going to be an on-call babysitters like my parents are. Several times he's dropped Connor off at their house for a week/weekend with little to no notice because he and his wife wanted to go on a spontaneous vacation.
Yep, that doesn't work. That's not fair. Same thing with like Connor, same thing with like a pet. Anything, when you drop that on somebody, that's not nice.
Yeah, I told him that was not going to happen with me, especially since I'm in the process of adopting a cat and he and Connor are allergic.
Mm.
I wasn't allowed to have a cat while I lived in my parents' house, which was fine because it was their house, and it wasn't fair to my brother and Connor, who were over there super often. So, getting him dropped at my place was out of the question. He thankfully didn't press the topic and said, "It's okay. Mom and Dad don't mind," and that he missed hanging out with me and was happy that I could be around Connor more. So everything worked out well, as I could have hoped. I'm excited to move back home in a few weeks. And thank you all for the advice and criticism. Comments! 1. I'm glad things worked out well. I hope they have always been working with specialists for Connor so that he has change. I hope that they have always been working with specialists for Connor so that when he has change, to be self-sufficient as possible. I get a tiny bit of a vibe that his mother and father, maybe because he just went along with his ex-wife, baby Connor, and never tried to get him help to adjust better to the real world. If Connor is incapable of eating at a normal restaurant, how is he going to get a job to support himself? If you can't do that, is it your brother making plans for a permanent adult group home for Connor? One day your brother is going to pass away, and it is best if he makes plans way before that happens and transitions Connor as much as possible while alive so he can adjust. Opie says that is the case, yes. His specialists have said they don't believe he'll ever be able to be independent as he is effectively nonverbal and still very prone to meltdowns despite the best efforts from my brother. And we have a part 2. Am I able for not babysitting my nephew for 10 days?
Okay.
Oh no.
Okay, which is okay. Before we get into that, I feel like we had a very good resolution. OP set their boundaries and had a very clear conversation with the brother. And like it shows that OP still cares for Connor and is there for Connor, but again, you're not Connor's babysitter, you're not Connor's, caretaker. So I get it. I'm scared for this next
Dude,
update.
I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
I was like, we have so much more to go. I don't think it's going to be
It was
all
that
sunshine and rainbows from here.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh no, this is great." Then you're like, "We're not even halfway through this." I was like, "Oh no." It was the freaking the mile thing. Like again, the inch for a mile.
Give me it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, let's
I'm like
see what
him being
happens.
like, "I'll babysit him 2 nights out of the month." I was like, wow.
Yeah, no, like I'll come over, bring his favorite food. That's like you're already going above and beyond than you should. The fact that you're like, I'll sacrifice 2 of my 2 nights out of my month to spend give you guys the time you want to go out to
I was
dinner.
very impressed.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
Or like at least like, hey, if you need my help, ask me in advance and I can give you a clear yes or no answer.
Hi, me again. I was hoping I wouldn't have to post here again, but well, life had other plans. I, 31 male, moved back to LA from Texas for a new job. My parents live here, as does my brother, 40 male, his wife, and my nephew Connor. Connor is autistic, and while he has made a lot of progress since he was 10, still struggles with a lot of things. He is nonverbal, stims often, and frequently has meltdowns. My brother, his wife, his ex-wife, and my parents are the only ones really able to calm him down. I regularly watch him once or twice a month, so my brother and his wife can go see a movie or hang out. I do not watch him overnight or for several days consecutively, and it's always at their house.
Yep.
After an argument last time, my brother and I have been on pretty good terms. He hasn't really pushed boundaries about babysitting, and we've mended our relationship quite well. However, something came up recently that has us on rocky terms. My brother recently got news that he was selected to attend a conference out of the country. The company is putting him up in a hotel for 10 days, and while they won't pay for his wife to go, they have no problems if he pays for her airfare and everything and occupies a room with him. I'm very happy my brother got this opportunity. The issue is childcare. The conference happens to align with my parent and sister are going to New York City for a week to celebrate my sister's birthday. Nothing is refundable, and my parents promised my sister this over a year ago, that they'd do this. His ex-wife, Connor's biological mother, will also be out of town for work. So this leaves me. When he called me to explain everything and ask, I told him no. However, I listed reasons for why I wouldn't be able to do it. 1. I live 90 minutes away. Distance wise, that's not fair. LA traffic makes a lot of things more difficult than they should be. I don't mind making the drive once or twice a month when I'm able to watch him, but I do not want to make it a 10 days in a row. Connor cannot come to my place. I have a cat. He's allergic, as well as me having things around the house that are fragile. I do not work from home, and Connor would still be in school, so I would likely have to put in paid time off to do it logistically. So this just doesn't work with his schedule either.
No, that's totally fair. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, again, where you're like, everyone's busy. I mean, what are we going to do? I mean, this was going to come sooner or later. And guess what? You are not the saving grace here. You are here to help, but you are not the babysitter.
2, the longest I've watched Connor was about 6 hours. He had a meltdown near the end of it. I wasn't even able to calm him down from, and it was only my brother and his wife getting back 20 minutes later that saved me. I cannot picture myself doing that for 10 days straight. 3, this one might sound really selfish, but I don't want to be set at president. If I watch him overnight even once, I know my brother and his wife would push it on me again. I don't want to be doing that kind of thing. I'm happy with our arrangement of me watching him once or twice a month and hanging out with him. That being said, I do not hesitate to watch him during an emergency. But that is a totally different story. I explained all this to him. He wasn't happy. He went off on me about how he thought me being back would mean he could rely on me for this. I've said before, I am not an on-call babysitter, and his wife would really like to go on the strip. I said, I'm sorry, but I'm not doing this. And I said I would be happy to go and help her on the weekend. He's not here, and hang out with Connor to give her a break. But I'm not going to risk my own mental health for 10 days and use 8 of my paid time off to watch for him for a non-emergency. He had a few choice words for me and hung up. He got my parents involved in the group chat, and they surprisingly were on my side. They said it would be a really nice gesture if I did it, but reminded him that I've never watched Connor overnight, and his wife doesn't have to go on the strip. And the parents are probably looking out for Connor too.
Yeah, no, this is like, hey, what's the best for Connor? Because, yes, all of us, we've never had this situation of we watch Connor for a little bit, maybe overnight. That's about it. Maybe like a day at most.
Yeah.
And then guess what? You or your wife comes home and takes care of him and that calms him down.
Yeah.
This should have been figured out, again, from the comments from the last update. This should have been figured out way in advance to find someone or some people to help Connor out when this does happen. Hate to say it, but like that sucks. Like one of you has to stay behind, and guess what? It's not going to be you because you have a work trip. It has to be your wife.
He hasn't really talked to me since. I feel bad for his wife not being able to go, but I don't trust myself being able to handle Connor for 10 days. Am I the a-hole? Comment number 1. Not the a-hole. Either the kid goes with them or the wife stays home. But B, taking him isn't an option. His bio mom will not allow him out of the country per custody rules. And last time he went on a 45-minute plane ride to SF, my brother described it as the longest 45 minutes of his life. I cannot imagine what 10 plus hours on a plane ride would look like.
Okay, again, that's the longest 45 minutes of your life? You want to make Opie have the longest 10 days. 10 days of his life.
He's just trying to dump Connor on someone.
That's not, the fact that he said that is like, hey, whoa, buddy, do you hear yourself? So
come on, man. Reply, well, the two parents need to get it together and figure out a childcare plan for their son. Comment 2, not the a-hole at all. So LA has some of the best resources for both kids and adults like Connor. Your brother should be in touch with his local regional center. I know many parents who are hesitant to use it, but one of the services he should be able to access is respite care with well-trained caregivers. 10 days is probably way too much to start with, but it would be a good idea to look into those options. You might not be the right person to talk to your brother about it, but your parents should. It's important for Connor's future to be able to function with other people, and his parents need to start that process as soon as possible. OP says both my parents and I have encouraged him to seek out stuff like that. Unfortunately, while my brother's wife and his bio mom are okay with him being at school and having a therapist/aides over to help, they are not comfortable with letting anybody else look over him overnight and for that long. And we got an update to the second part.
just that comment, they're not comfortable with watching. then that's on you guys. Then
Yeah.
you stay here and you can't go on your trip.
Yeah.
Nobody here's the a-hole.
Shouldn't dump this on family every time.
No, you got to stop relying on people and start relying on yourselves.
Yeah, honestly.
You guys are failing for not just yourselves but for Connor as well, because you're just saying Connor's a detriment.
Yeah.
Which is not fair.
First, I want to thank everyone who provided advice. I really appreciated it. I messaged my brother. I said he has two options. Either he and or his wife stay home and watch Connor, or he works with the local agency/care facilities. I apologize if not using the right terms. To get respite care for him as long as they are gone and I check on him during the weekend. I would not be able to watch him, and I will not hear him out in regards to that. He called me and his wife got on the line and said, I know how she feels about other people watching him overnight and how his mom feels too, and she's never been to this location before and it's on their bucket list. I said, I am aware, and that I'm assuming in that case, she'd be staying home with Connor, and maybe she and my brother can take Connor there in the future. My brother tried to interject, but I cut him off. I said, I really don't care what he has to argue. I'm not here for it. As some of you suggested, I again pointed them towards local organizations and government entities dedicated to helping parents with children with special needs, but it really didn't get anywhere. I was really burnt out over everything. So I said good luck with the situation and hung up. I made a group chat with him and his wife and told him that going forward, I'll be visiting them once or twice a month, meaning one of them has to be there when I'm there. I'm not watching Connor alone anymore. I feel like this is a good compromise, letting me still hang out with Connor and also not being a caretaker. I told them that maybe in the future we can work backwards what we had before, but not anytime soon. They both wrote back paragraphs on how they were sorry, but they had no other choice. I thought maybe I'd do it for them, that this could be like a second honeymoon for them, and to please keep watching him for a day or two a month, that they even pay me for it. I told them no amount of payment is worth it. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to Connor. He said he is not my son, he is theirs, and that they need to start working with agencies now to get him accustomed to care and other people watching him, because our parents are getting old and soon they won't be an option. And we're an option for every time you get in the car, you go on a drive, or you're about to do some chores. All you gotta do is go to your favorite freaking podcast platform, search up OK Storytime, and we're gonna be there for you all the time.
Always.
My brother responded that he and his wife will start the process and get to his ex involved too. But if that doesn't work, what are they going to do then? I told them that it's on them. I'll happily join them in researching organizations and benefits, but if they have an inkling in their head that I'm going to do it for them, for what my parents did, they are out of their minds. His wife asked if I would consider getting training and learning on how to care for Connor like they do, and I shot that down. I am more than happy to be the fun uncle that drops by and hangs out, but I value my independence, and I won't let that be a compromise. I don't know about that. I think it would be good for you to have that learning in case of an emergency.
Yeah.
But it seems like they dump Connor on you and your sister for the whole lives.
And your parents, yeah.
And it's good that you're taking that stand. It's tough, but it is good that you're taking that stand.
No, this is the hard truth. And this is the reality of things, and they need to come face to face with it and stop putting it on you, your family, not, again, a business.
Both of them eventually gave me the thumbs up emojis. His wife said she was going to stay home with Connor and not go on the trip, and said they see me in 2 weeks when we have a hangout. We'll see what happens then, but at the very least, I'm not on the hook for watching him, and someone that can calm him is. I will do my best to keep pushing them to expand their circle and seek out other options and programs that will help them with Connor, as I think that will be greatly beneficial to the quality of life for all of them and prevent a situation like this to ever happen again. Wow, and I learned a lot from this one. This was a great story.
My girlfriend keeps scaring my brother, so I asked her to leave.
Boo.
Nice. So, on to the situation. My girlfriend, 23 female, and I, 24 female, have been together for 2 years. My family always loved her, and she even had a good relationship with my brother, 16 male as well. By the way, this comes from Throwaway 893-409-27. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So last year, my brother was diagnosed with a certain disease that almost took his life. My brother has always had a low immune system, which made everything even worse. My brother is still recovering, but in a much better condition now. But unfortunately, he ended up losing sight in both of his eyes. Legally speaking, he can be considered blind right now. When social isolation started to happen because of the most recent events, I decided to speak with my parents about how it would be better if my brother lived with me by that time, for the time being. My parents agreed happily. They both are essential workers, and they wouldn't have much time to stay with my brother. He is still getting used to his new life as a blind person and is still adapting on how to live with it. If he needed help with anything, my parents wouldn't be able to help. And also because my brother already has a bad immune system, and it wouldn't be a good idea for him to live in a house with our parents who would constantly be dealing with patients who may or may not be sick. Yeah, I mean, I can totally see why Opie's like, let's get the brother with me.
Sense.
Yeah, and also shout out to OP for, I mean, at 23, 24 years old, essentially being the guardian to your 16-year-old
blind brother.
I mean, that's a huge undertaking. I can work from home, and I have a lot of free time, so if he ever needed help, I would be more than available to help him, so it was a win-win situation. I also invited my girlfriend to live with me. She has a very good house of her own, but we could be together, so why not? Everything was good and fine. But recently, I started to notice that my brother started to become not himself anymore. I mean, even with all of this happening with him, he always was cheerful and happy and always trying to look on the good side of all this. But recently, he started to become more shy and introverted when my girlfriend was around. And I found that strange. Yesterday, I was in my living room reading a book, and my brother was at the kitchen drinking a cup of water. Just drinking a cup of water casually. My girlfriend approached him and just said good morning. She had just gotten up. It was almost 7:30 a.m. I noticed my brother got scared. I thought that was just an isolated incident. She must have caught him by surprise, so I didn't pay much attention to it. But today, I was hearing music while preparing for our lunch, and my brother was sitting in the kitchen while talking to me. I noticed someone approaching, and I saw that it was my girlfriend. When she noticed we were hearing music, she started to walk slowly as if she didn't want to make a sound. She got behind my brother and quickly held his shoulders and shouted, "Hello there, how are you doing?" So we're walking up to the brother who just recently became legally blind, and we're scared, shaking him and be like, "Hey, how are you doing? How are you doing?"
Yeah, that's a no.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Wow. My brother said he wanted to stay alone and went to his room. I was pissed at her. I mean, yeah. I asked her what did she think she was doing by scaring him that way. She told me that she had read on the internet and also from her mother that scaring a blind person is a good thing because it makes them more aware of their surroundings.
Oh, no. No.
Why? That is A, incorrect, and B, freaking awful. I started to connect the dots and asked her for how long had she been scaring my brother like that. She told me around 2 weeks, up to 3 times a day, if possible, in her words.
She's on a mission.
Oh, I was seeing red at that moment. I asked her to never do that again. It didn't take much. It was almost 4 p.m. today, and I was watering my garden when I heard my brother shout. When I got inside, he was shouting at my girlfriend to leave him alone. I ended up getting into a fight with her. I tried every single thing I could to show her that it wasn't okay to do that to a blind person, and she needed to stop or else she would have to come back to her house. She promised me never to do it again. Why am I having a hard time believing that she'll never do it again?
She's gonna do it again. She's in training. She's
Dude,
she's training him.
What would possess someone to do something so cruel and stupid? Where did you get this from?
Right? What is her mom telling her? Like, where did
Yeah.
her mom come up with this idea too?
And like I feel like it was literally just her mom, and her mom was like, "Yeah, you know, people tell me all the time. I read it all the time. Like, yeah, you have to scare a blind person because then it'll like make them more aware." No. Did you ever stop to consider, hey, maybe I should run this by the person who is blind, who'd be like, yeah, I don't need that.
Right.
Like I'm kind of good, bro. So she promised me to never do it again. Tonight, I was making dinner, and she did it again.
Break up.
Tonight, the same day.
Same day.
I don't know what to do anymore. We got into a huge fight, and I ended up telling her to go back to her house. She argued with me that I was being unfair and that she was just trying to help. I still refused to let her stay, and she went back to her home. She has been bombarding my cell phone the entire night about how it was wrong for me to do that and that I should have never kicked her out because of something so trivial as that. Even to say something as so trivial means you still, the levels of which you don't get it and how you're like, you know, it's so awful you're doing that to your brother, the fact that how this would hurt OP, that her poor brother is going through this and you're terrorizing him. To say it's trivial.
This poor kid is afraid to walk around his own house.
Yes.
Like, that should be a safe spot.
Oh, God. Like, and he had to move. Remember, he had to move from his parents' house because it's like, oh, because there'll be sick people coming. Like, oh, it's going to be a bad environment. Anyways, he's away from his parents who, like, you know, if I'm being honest, like if I was in the situation, I would be so grateful for my sibling, but also probably pretty nervous. Like your parents take care of your whole life. You know, you're like more comfortable under their like care and it's just like something to get used to. And this poor kid is freaking terrified. God, I haven't been answering and I don't even know how to. I feel like I shouldn't have kicked her out of my house, but I don't feel like it would be a safe space for my brother if she just goes around scaring him. My brother told me he didn't say anything to me before because he didn't want to cause problems as he was a guest. Oh,
Jeez, the guest.
dude, he's literally like, I don't want to be any more of a this poor kid. Oh, he's sweet. He's a sweet baby boy. I don't think she would stop if she came back. She has a history of being a little bit stubborn sometimes, but never something like this that would affect other people. I don't know how to respond to her. Should I just let her back at my house, but setting some ground rules? No, don't let her back. Should I not allow her until my brother are back at my parents' house? Other than this, she was always a loving girlfriend and always treated me and my family with nothing but respect and love. I don't know how to go on from this. We have an update, and Carly, I think we need to help OP figure out how to go on from this. What would you do in this scenario as OP?
I don't think she's coming back to the house anytime soon.
Yeah.
Even as like a visit. I mean, they're quarantined, so she might not even be able to come back if she's going back to her home.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think for me, it's the fact that she still so clearly. I mean, you can like break it down further to like, okay, let me really break it down for you on why this is so bad. Like you, for instance, saying it's so trivial means you don't understand the gravity of like my little brother who's like going through this horrible experience, has to live away from his parents, like you scaring and terrorizing him and literally doing it right after you promised me, you told me you'd stop. Like
that's what got me, the fact that it's the same day still.
Yeah.
That's
like it's so abundantly clear that, you know, you don't respect me, you don't respect my brother and like everything he's going through. She's deliberately being cruel. And it's like, if you don't understand that, you can't like change the behavior. And like, I have just seen negative 10% evidence of you changing your behavior.
There would need to be some conversation further of like why she thought that was okay, but I don't think she's going to come back with anything that's redeemable. And I don't think there is anything redeemable from that. Blindfold the girlfriend for a day in the house and put her through it.
Yeah, freaking attack
and just
her.
Like scare her all day. And I'm like,
let's do that.
Yeah.
We have an update, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to start by saying that I decided to get in contact again with my girlfriend, and I did decide to talk to her. Of course, I didn't let her back into my home. I wanted to talk on any other place than there. She called me to go to her house. I'm tired of her nonsense. I started by asking her where did she get the advice that she saw on the internet that said scaring blind people was a good thing to be done. A great question to start us off. She was very reluctant to tell me, but when I pressured her a little more, she ended up telling me. Apparently, There is no article, no research, no elaborate study, nothing. The advice she got came from a friend of hers on a Facebook chat. It's always Facebook. And she just went along with it. She also told me she lied about her mother telling her that. To clarify, her mother is a social worker where we live, so she thought that if she said that her mother had also said that, it would make her friend's advice a little more credible because she couldn't find any study or article. Maybe when you couldn't find any, first of all, I highly doubt you looked for a study or article.
No.
Second of all, even if you did, once you couldn't find any credible sources to back this up, wouldn't that cause you to pause for a moment and be like, maybe like attacking this newly blind child is maybe not a good idea.
Maybe just maybe.
Maybe. I tried to ask her about why she would think that her friend's advice was good when she could find nothing to corroborate it. She didn't want to answer. I asked her then why she would ignore me when I told her to stop and kept scaring my brother. She told me she didn't think I would find it that bad and that if I really loved her, I would just ignore it because she was trying to help, and that she feels I don't love her because I would choose my brother over her because now he is C-word, her own words, on something so trivial.
Break up.
Break up.
Break up.
She'll never get it. Dude. I choosing my brother over you. He just became blind and you're scaring him. That's not choosing him over you.
It's his brother.
Like, and like, if you just behaved like a normal human being, she would be thrilled having you there, thrilled having him there. Like, it would just be, everyone would be peacefully coexisting and it would be amazing and so great. And that he should grow up and deal with his problems himself. And I, as her girlfriend, should always be on her side. Always. Of course, I was very angry at this answer, as you should be. That is healthy anger, ladies and gentlemen. Being frustrated is something that is worth being frustrated over. And we ended up getting into another fight. In her words, I shouldn't have asked my brother to come live with me, but as I ended up asking, he should just be quiet and obey and accept what we do because we know better for being adults. Before going to her house, I took some people's advice and I decided to ponder about our relationship until that moment. And looking back, I could see a lot of things that I didn't want to see at first. First, every single approach in our relationship was taken by me. Want a date? I was the one inviting her. Let's go see a movie. I always had to be the one to invite. Romantic time, I had to start it always. Looking back, the entire relationship looks one-sided. Second, she doesn't look like she cared much about boundaries from the start. She disregarded every single boundary I've had before. I never took much action about them because they were small things. I believe that if I made myself more clear before, it wouldn't get to a point where it would cause problems to my brother. So I made a decision. I didn't want to break up, but if we were to continue a relationship, all of this would have to change. I talked with her and told her that I didn't want to break up, but if we were to continue a relationship first, she would not be allowed near my brother and wouldn't be welcome to my house when my brother is there. Second, she would have to apologize to him and promise, and this time respect that promise, that what was done wouldn't happen again. And third, she would have to go to counseling with me. Those were my terms, and if we were to continue together, things had to change.
So he just goes, anytime I've set a boundary, she's completely ignored and pushed it. So instead of breaking up with her, I set a boundary.
You know, and Carly, Keon, I have to ask you, do we think that she's going to transform into an angel and be amazing and the most caring person ever and it'll be great?
I hope so, but I don't think so.
She's doubling down. She's like,
She's gonna scare
you're going to tell me what to do?
It's going to be so great.
She's gonna start scaring both of them.
She got mad at me.
Yep.
Cursed me. Told me I was an idiot to choose family over her and that I was crazy to end a relationship over this.
My God.
She didn't even end the relationship. She gave you which you did not deserve, by the way. She gave you the out. All you had to do was, go to counseling and not be a freaking maniac. That's literally all. And here we are. And then again, too, it's just the way that she responds. Like anytime you even set a boundary, it's like, how dare you? Like, oh my God. Like, no, there's just zero respect here. I talked with her about those things I mentioned earlier, and she called me stupid, that this is what a good relationship looks like. Of course, we got into another fight. In the end, she wasn't willing to compromise and make the relationship work, so I decided to end things. Let's go. Yep, we broke up. Of course, I left her house being called a lot of names. I blocked her on both my cell phone and social media, and right now I'm focusing on my brother. It hurts a lot that the person that I've been calling the love of my life recently could be that cold, but I guess it was for the better. By the way, if you want the greatest training material ever in history, maybe, for dealing with a-holes like this, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2,000 episodes of our show that you can find on Spotify, Apple, or iHeart. Just search OK Storytime and get over 62 days straight content in your ear holes. You'll literally never run out of content. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a little bit more to the story. But Carly, what are your closing thoughts here? What's going through your head right now?
I mean, they broke up. That's what they had to do.
That's what had to happen.
I think, yeah. Go home and give your brother some ice cream.
Yes. Yeah, honestly, go hang out with the brother and just like have a movie marathon, calm, ice cream, like favorite, what's your favorite restaurant? I'm buying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, that is great. Well, to get into this, a lot of you recommended therapy and counseling for my brother, and he's already on it. Before coming to my house, he was already doing that. I would like to thank you all for the advice. I don't think I would ever look back at my own relationship if I hadn't gotten to that point, and I don't think it would be safer to continue in that relationship anymore. She already disregarded boundaries with me. I didn't do anything about it. And it got to a point where it ended affecting very badly my brother, and I felt very guilty for that. Thank you for all your help and for your kind words of comfort. And a quick edit, it looks like a lot of people are misreading or didn't see my original post. I am also a woman. My girlfriend is a woman as well. And there you have it. Wow. What a keeper.
What a keeper.
What a freaking keeper.